baby. Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Friends, people that are not friends that are here to troll us stream and hate on your boys. Welcome. Everybody is welcome. You know what it is. It's Saturday. This is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. Of course, I'm with my co-host, Righteous Reg. What's going on, bro?
In the building, it's your boy, Media Man, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. Saturday morning, very happy to be here. Phil, it's been a great week of pro wrestling. It's been an amazing week of professional basketball, for keeping it real. I watched a couple of these in-season tournament games, and people are playing like their lives depend on it. I love it, baby. It's great. It's great. We're doing great here.
Yeah, man. I might have something to talk about soon because, you know, Zach LaVine has not been outside among us. He has been injured. But in his time away, the Chicago Bulls have won 4 games in a row.
What's going on here?
You know, at first I looked at it. I said the first game, I was like, all right, they look better. And then I by the third game, I was like, oh, they look better without him. I don't know. I don't know.
That's classic. That's wrestling tie-in of like, there's wrestlers that wrestle hurt because if they leave, then they think somebody's going to take their spot. This is somebody taking his spot, man. Like, you're winning 4 in a row. What does that say? And there's all these trade rumors that have been going on for some time now. What do you do, Phil?
I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen, but he just hasn't played like he's motivated. He don't play like he want to be there, man. Like he's not playing great defense. He's I don't know. The offense is at a standstill sometimes when he's out there because he wants to take bad shots or he wants to hold the ball too long sometimes. He just look better without him. The offense moves better without him. You know, it's a problem when even Patrick Williams is playing better when he's away, man. I don't know.
Sometimes that having that type of player could be a gift and a curse. You know what I mean? Like, the team could be dependent on this player of this caliber, so you're moving the offense a certain way. But when he's gone, you're like, all right, it's a lot more open. Like, I can get to him, I can get to this guy, and get it over here, and like you can see that your offense and the whole team is moving differently. So when he comes back, they're going to be like, hey, or if he comes back, I don't know. At this point, it's crazy. I don't want to talk about basketball, honestly, because my team is dumb. I don't even know I started like this.
Yeah, I mean, boy, Steph hit some big shots in the fourth quarter. I thought that game was over. Nope. Ended up going to overtime, and OKC Thunder pulled that game out.
You said OKC Thunder. It's a sick world out here, Phil.
Hey, Thunder are a good team, man. The Thunder look good. They're one of those teams that's on the rise in the West, like Minnesota Timberwolves also look very good. Houston Rockets also still look good. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of those Warriors, man. They keep blowing 20-point leads or blowing games where they have it looks like they got it in the bag, and they just, I don't know. But
it's early.
It is early, but you know, Bulls are currently 4 in a row. Can't gloat too much because they're still a sub 500 team. But 4 in a row, baby. My guy Swerve is out here getting his dance on. If you don't know who Chuck Swerve is, he is a Bulls commentator here. Every time the Bulls win a game, he posts a video of him dancing. And so now every time we win, I'm just like, yes, come on,
4
man.
in a row.
Get that bid out there, Swerve.
I love it, man. It's great.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chicago. I saw that little
tweet yesterday about Chicago producing the most athletes. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to tell Phil nothing at this point. What's in the water over there, man?
Listen, man. I have to listen to a lot of slander from other people talking about this city, and every time anybody posts anything positive about the city, oh, but it's not safe there. Oh, but the violence. Shut up. You don't live here, and you don't know what it's like here. But you constantly want to bring up the violence, or man, y'all really live here? Yeah, I do live here. Calm down.
Yep.
But yeah, I saw that tweet and I chuckled a little bit. I'm sure Tony P is in here somewhere. Tony responded, was like, yeah, but how many champions y'all got? I'm like, aren't you a Miami Heat fan? Did a certain guy from Chicago come to your city and win you 3 championships?
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Those are facts. Those are actual facts.
I'm just saying.
Listen, the stats show the stats, and not only the if they do the stats on the rappers too, we'd be out of here too. They got a bunch of successful, great rappers, so it's like, no, you can't. You got to give it up to Chicago.
Yeah. But yeah, the in-season tournament has been better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Milwaukee looked like they wanted to play at one point. They were not playing a whole bunch of defense, but scoring a bunch of points. And I thought that they were heading to the finals to this thing, and
they weren't.
Tyrese Halliburton had something to say about that. Came out and had a magnificent game the other night. Hit Dame time with the Tyrese time, Hallie time, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I said before the season started that Indiana Pacers were going to be a lot better than people expected. Them guys is hooping, man.
Now, Young Bull is balling. That was it's so crazy to see like players. I saw it was like born in 2000. I'm like, this kid's born in 2000, balling up all the dudes in the league like he's been there before. And it's funny because we had Jay Rose on Indeed like the day that the Pacers were debuting the season, and he was super excited about it and all of this, and he was talking to us about how he thought that they had something this year, and I was like, all right, bro, but no, I'm seeing it like it's happening before.
No, Pacers are going to be a playoff team for sure.
It's crazy, bro. But yeah, I hadn't watched basketball. I don't know, it felt like a while or something. I turned on the in-season tournament and I look, it's the Lakers playing, and they have a 1 by their name, and I'm like, the Lakers are the number 1 seed of this tournament. What the hell's going on? And I turn it on, and LeBron James is balling like he just got in the league. And I'm like, what's the motivation? And like, oh, everybody's getting $500,000. I'm like, all right, I'll probably be balling like that too, honestly.
Listen, I haven't seen the entire episode yet, but your boy Mero from Desus of Mero fame is starting a podcast with other well-known New Yorker, Carmelo Anthony. And one of the clips I've seen is them talking about the in-season tournament. And hold on. Sorry. But they're talking about the in-season tournament, and one of the jokes Mero made was, does this make up for us not winning a Larry Bryan trophy anytime soon? Is this as good as a Larry? And Melo goes, nah, I wouldn't say Larry. We'll say Gary. It's like Gary. But and so I've been looking at that, and so watching LeBron get up for this tournament, I was like, hey man, do you, buddy? I think a lot of us know that once playoffs time comes, it's a little bit different, man.
But these are playoffs.
They're not playoffs, bro. They're not playoffs. It's in-season tournament. I mean, it's fun. It's sudden death type games. The elimination games. Once you lose, you're out. Cool. This ain't playoffs, man. I seen the guy do that interview where the one guy asked him, "Oh man, you've never been to the Final Four because you didn't go to NCAA. This is probably the closest you're gonna get to that." And he did this whole shameless lie during that. And I was like, whatever, man. Like,
if LeBron's gonna lie, at least at minimum.
this shameless lie he told, and I see that he's excited to win this tournament. I see a lot of people that either the sports analysts that love this guy or his fans are pumped up about it. Go ahead, man.
Have fun.
I've seen people that are like, I feel hating her, ha ha ha, and I'm like, guy, I don't care.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, buddy, I don't
Mhm.
care. Matter of fact, I bet on the Lakers to win this game. So
Oh.
I kind of think they're gonna win regardless, and it doesn't really matter, man. It's just like I think they're gonna win, and I think it's good for the tournament. In all honesty, like I think to add like some credibility to the tournament for the Lakers, a
Everything is
prestigious
wrestling.
team, to be the first to win it, I think that matters. I think for LeBron to be the first guy to win it matters.
Everything is wrestling. This is
Sometimes,
so wrestling. They create a new championship for the big time. It's like when Seth Rollins won the World Heavyweight Championship. Like, let's create this other thing, this little consolation prize, but we know where the big dog is. But we're gonna give it up.
Is it a consolation prize? Because if I say that, then I'm called a hater. But
We already know I'm a hater. Just somebody called me a generational hater before.
Is it a consolation prize? I don't know. I think Bron's gonna win. I think Lakers are gonna win. As much
It
as I
seemed
like
like the fix is in. I don't know.
as much as I like the Pacers and I like what those guys are doing right now. As a Chicago Bulls fan, I could never in my life in good conscience root for the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, that
it's
doesn't
like me
sound
rooting
right.
for the Detroit Pistons. It's just not gonna happen.
Weird.
I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
But it's the same way with the Lakers. I don't have a real dog in this race other than the fact that I bet on the Lakers to win. But I don't really care who wins this thing. My team's not in it.
Your team won 4 in a row.
4 in a row. Not in a tournament, though. But, yeah, tournament games have been fun to watch so far. Can't complain too much. I did think it was funny the other night when Bryan got that terrible call towards the end of the game, and people that were defending it were like, y'all crying about calls. I'm like, oh, you mean like your guy does all the time? You mean like your guy threw that tantrum in that Boston game last year, and we had to talk about it for a whole 2 or 3 weeks about how that was a terrible injustice to him? But yet, soon as he gets away with something, all y'all do is cry.
The LeBron hate is never going to end, is what you're saying, Philip.
Oh, I just think that he and a lot of his fans are insufferable.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, we got a lot of entertainment of this. Not just that call being bad, and it is whatever. They probably going to win that game anyway, but I still did not think that was a good call. And when you couple that with the Udoka thing that happened days before that, and Udoka telling him stop whining, and you cut to this game, and you're doing exactly that in the game, I was just like.
Now, Udoka being like, what you going to do about it was my favorite.
Listen, before we knew what he said in that clip, and we still don't know if that's exactly what he said, but when we just got the clip of it and we couldn't hear any of the sound, and you could just see him like looking him up and down, I was like, nah, he definitely told him like, what you gonna do
What's
about
up?
it? Get up out of here.
Totally. No, you can feel that energy without the words, and then you hear whatever. I don't know if they're completely words, but it sounds like that's what's going on. Of him being like, "All right, dog, like keep whining, keep complaining to the ref, but what you gonna do about it? Pull up."
Yeah. The version that it looks like that Udoka said stop whining like bitches, and then he can't. But Brian came over and said don't use that word so lightly or something like that, and then that turned into Udoka going, all right, what you gonna do about it? Unfortunately, the ref was standing right next to him at that point, and can't say for certain what he called him after that, but it sounded like he called him soft. Ref didn't like that, threw Udoka out of the game. It is funny too that Houston is now like the de facto rival for the Lakers now because Dylan Brooks is over there. So
I like it. I like this energy, man. I want to have it's like having separate storylines in your basketball season. Like, oh, this is going on over here, then this is going on. It's great. It's a lot of really wanting to win energy, and I don't know if there's always that energy, but it's different when there's a lot of teams that are really good. Like you said, there's these young teams like the Thunder and the Rockets and all these kind of coming up on the, in addition to the great teams that are already here. So it's like, it's dope.
Yeah. I mean, hey man, basketball is already fun to watch. I have said many times that basketball on Christmas is better than football on Thanksgiving at this point for me. So it's getting into that part of the year where basketball starts ramping up. So, yeah, I'm here for it. on the rap side, did you listen to his Nicki album?
I have not heard the Nicki album yet. Did you play it?
I did not.
Mm.
I heard it's good though.
Yeah, I mean, Busby's online saying that she's spitting. He's like, he's really riding hard for her with this album. So I think I might check it out, but I don't really. I've never listened to a Nicki Minaj album in full. If we're keeping it 1,000.
I'm not a big Nicki guy, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like
I never really liked the voices thing.
No, I respect the talent and everything. I just can't say that her music is really for me.
Right.
I'll probably check it out. But we got Smoke Dizza as well. Certain AEW World Champion opening Smoke Dizza's album.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
If you listen to the new Smoke Dizza album, it is opened by one MJF. Very interesting what some people will think of that. I think it's dope. Smoke Dizza has been known to be a wrestling fan. I think it's dope that he's tuned in and he's like bringing in wrestlers to do things like that.
He's like a huge wrestling fan too. It's not like a fake thing,
No, he's been a wrestling fan for a minute, and so I think that's dope.
Yeah, anytime there's crossover like that, it's great, and like such a big crossover is even more interesting, especially with, like you said, how people will take Max being there because Max has some things with some people and they feel a type of way about something. So yeah, but to me, I'm like, yo, Dude's that dope shit. It's hip hop, it's wrestling. I'm trying to cross over on it. Eloquent sends a good super chat, something we could talk about a little bit. Y'all seen the May the Lord Watch doc? Amazing. Yeah, there's now a Little Brother documentary on YouTube. You haven't seen it?
I haven't.
Yeah, they get into the whole deal of Little Brother. They really focus on kind of like what happened with Ninth Wonder. Ninth Wonder is not a part of the documentary. They tried to get Ninth Wonder for the documentary. They talk about it in full, how essentially they started and then like immediately Ninth Wonder was like with Jay-Z and with Beyonce. So like people thought Little Brother was him, but he was already taken off, and they felt a type of Fonte and Big Pooh felt a type of way about him being over there and them. Because it was like, I remember like the first time I had heard of Little Brother, it was like Ninth Wonder and Little Brother.
Right.
And that's what they hated that off rip, and they kind of get into all of it. Really, really, really great, amazing documentary.
You said it's on Hulu?
No, it's on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's free. And so I got teary-eyed in parts. They talk about like breaking up and Fife Dog and like all this shit. It's like, yeah, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah, I'll give it a look.
Let's get into a couple more super chats before we move forward. Bragov says, happy Grapsody Day. Appreciate the great content. Thanks, Bragov, for always supporting.
Appreciate you, bro.
Meet Normus says, shout out to my 318 Warriors. I can enjoy the NBA without having to stress about winning the tournament or, God forbid, the championship. Rough out here without houses blowing up near me. Jeez Louise. Yeah, yo, you saw that, Phil?
No, that clip was crazy.
What is that?
I just seen it, but as a matter of fact, I was on the phone when I saw it. So I was talking to somebody, and I was just like, you know how you just scroll through Twitter, and you just scroll a bunch of stuff, and I just stopped on that explosion. I was like, yo, what? Yeah.
Anytime you see something like that and it's not a movie, you're like,
yeah. I didn't see all the specifics. Hopefully, no one was in there. Hopefully, people are safe. That looked crazy.
Anytime that comes out, everybody has their conspiracy theories, and they're like, oh, there's some government documents. Like, I've seen like 3 conspiracy theories already. I'm like, you guys, stop.
It's in Arlington, right? Arlington, Virginia.
I don't know where it was. That shit was crazy.
I think it was in Virginia. But yeah, Meet Norris. Sorry. Jordan Poole has given me a lot of entertainment for non-basketball reasons.
The wrong reason.
But yeah, not too much on the actual basketball side. Somebody said a person in the house died. That's unfortunate.
Sorry.
That's very sad. But yeah,
peace,
hopefully no one around the area was hurt. Other than that, condolences to the family of to whoever was in there.
Yeah, condolences.
Crazy way to die.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. Yo, on the Jordan Poole thing, I've been thinking about like, what if he had stayed? Do you think things would be different? Because he is wilding over there. Like, he is like brash and obnoxious and like, this is my team. It's like all the things you probably shouldn't say.
It's looking like I was one of the guys that felt like this wasn't a good trade. Might be seeing why they traded this guy, man.
Like, maybe this is a good idea. He is wilding.
Might be something to it, man. Don't know.
I see why Draymond did what he did. At this point, you're talking crazy, bro. And if you talk crazy like that to Draymond, he's gonna do something about it. As we see, he did something about it. Whew, crazy guy. Coy Stalin says, give the Mavs Caruso, Philly quit playing. Give the Mavs Caruso, Philly quit playing.
Hey, man, y'all got Kyrie, man. Why y'all need Caruso?
Phil.
Come on, man.
Phil.
Why they need Caruso? They got Kyrie Irving.
Phil.
Hey, man. If y'all want to, give us Kyrie Irving, cool.
You'll take Kyrie?
I think we win some games. Now some of the stuff around it, might not be as fun, but he's gonna go out there and hoop.
You take a couple dubs. Yeah, no, I'm with you. He's definitely going to go out there and hoop without the shenanigans. There's going to be shenanigans, but the hooping's going to be
it's Kyrie. Of course, we're getting shenanigans. Speaking of shenanigans, we also got another Kanye sighting with him sampling Backstreet Boys. Did you see this clip?
I did see this clip because this morning I was just disgusted with some wrestling stuff, but mostly that because I've seen a bunch of people being like, I saw a tweet that said, you guys could never get me to hate Kanye, and it was just connected to that 10-second music clip, and I'm like, music will get you guys to do anything. This is insane. That's such a nasty tweet, but like, yeah, I saw the clip, and I'm like, he could get people back so easily because everybody's strapped in, just like hearing that 10-second Backstreet Back remix or whatever the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, so he's got the album coming out with Ty Dolla, and I mean, it's Ty Dolla, man. Ty Dolla's gonna give you the good hooks. He's gonna give you some good vocals on there. I have no doubt that some of the music on there will probably be good. But I did chuckle a little bit at this visual he put up of him walking out on his balcony, like very like stoic and like introspective, and then you've got this Backstreet Boys sample over it. I was like, okay,
with the Elvis suit on, and then he looks to the side. I'm like, all right, brother.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a decent little flip, but I'm just like, all right, man. I can't say I'm excited for it, but I saw people going crazy
about it if he didn't suck. You know what I mean? Like, that's what sucks about all this. Like, I'd be like, probably like, oh, this is about to hit, but I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. People that want more Kanye music, you're getting it. So,
congrats.
Congrats.
Nurag says, Dragon just woke up the Continental Classic for me. Wrestled 3 matches in a week with one eye and an arm that may not be heavily healed. May not be healed fully. Crazy. And that backstage promo, man, go. Yes. I watched the Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia match super early this morning. And the whole time after it was over, I was thinking, he just did that with one eye.
Listen, man, it's a good place to get into it because I do think the Continental Classic came with this idea of like fire matches, and for the first week or so, we were getting some pretty good matches. I think Swerve was one of the standouts immediately. Brody came out, and I think Brody's been fantastic so far.
Yeah.
Roosh, I feel like Roosh has been tremendous. Roosh has only won one match, but I feel like he's having kind of like that G1 performance where
him and Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, he doesn't really need to win all his matches to make an impact, and I think coming out of this tournament, they should see like, man, we gotta do something with this guy because he's phenomenal. But I mean, this tournament was basically created for Dragon.
We knew what time it was,
man. And so I knew once he started getting to his matches, then we were in for some. Listen, I knew we were in for some good matches, but buddy. Tournament completely changed once he started actually wrestling, man, because that first match he had with Eddie Kingston on Collision last week was amazing, man. Killed it. Eddie Kingston looked tremendous in it. Bryan is Bryan, hard hitting. And I also like when Bryan gets in his bag where it's not just I want to beat you, but I want to demoralize you. Beat this man down. Went out into the stands, found that Eddie is a bum sign, walked it around the ring, got in the ring with it, showed it on the hard cam several times, and then dropped it on Eddie's face as he walked it out. Listen, Get to it, baby. This is what we
Dragon is
want.
here, baby. This is 100% the Bryan Danielson we wanted and needed. Yeah, it felt like coming into this week, it was like, yeah, we've had some good matches. Swerve has been killing it. Jay White has been having a tremendous tournament, but it's like we all know what time it is. We're waiting for Bryan to cook. Bryan comes in with Eddie Kingston, and he gives us, both of them give us exactly what we want. They're chopping each other down, they're suplexing each other, they're talking crazy to each other the whole time, trying to gouge each other's eyes out. Bryan's hitting crazy submissions. Eddie Kingston's trying to knock his head off. Everything you would want out of this style of tournament. This is like when we heard about this tournament, we're like, that's what we want. And Bryan gave it up. But this match last night with Daniel Garcia, man, this is sicko mode Bryan Danielson. He's smiling while he's doing his gross shit. He's happy when Daniel Garcia returns the fire to him. He's trying to kill Daniel Garcia with every move he's ever perfected. He's hitting cattle mutilations out there. He's tearing him up with the big knee, like everything that Bryan Danielson for, it was here. But Daniel Garcia, man, I know his kind of thing in this tournament is playing he's losing all of his matches, so he doesn't really know what's next for him, or he doesn't know where he's at in his career. But with that performance last night, brother, you are in the game. This is amazing work here that you did. Like, I talked to Daniel Garcia multiple times before he came into AEW, while he was in AEW, and it was always like, Bryan Danielson, I want to have that match. I want to be in there with him. He's the reason that I'm here. He's this. And so they've had previous matches and they killed, but this match felt like wrestling with a purpose, both sides. Like, Bryan Danielson is here to show y'all, like, I'm almost gone, but while I'm here, I'm about to show y'all that I'm still the best wrestler in the world. And Daniel Garcia, of like desperation of this Jericho thing still kind of in the air. They're playing up the Bryan Danielson wanted him in BCC thing still in the match. So I thought all the elements were great. This is perfect. And Bryan's got one more tonight with Andrade. Phil, come on, bro.
Yeah, this guy in the span of a week has given us three, because the collision match has already been filmed. But in the span of a week, has given us three matches. The two of them that we've seen have been fire. The promos he's cutting in between them are incredible. He's getting his jokes off on Twitter, man. Like, loving it, man. I love to see it.
Seriously, yeah, I forgot about the tie-in with the bit of him being the disciplinarian over there, and now he's playing up to it on Twitter. This is Bryan Danielson 100%. I'm sure when Tony was like, I mean, I probably got one more year with this guy, like, let's milk it. I didn't know it was going to be like this. Bryan is all in. Everybody's all in. This is perfect, man. And like, there's still so much more to come. But like, if you're going to give us this for the next however many months, man, we're in for a ride.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought the collision match was incredible. I thought the Rampage match last night was very good. I love that they circled back to all of the BCC stuff. I love what they've done with Garcia in the tournament. Garcia, of course, lost his third match last night, so he is officially eliminated from the tournament, unfortunately. But I think that they did a lot of really good storytelling with him in the three matches. I think having him go through this conflict since he's left Jericho Appreciation Society has been good. I think having him work his way through three matches and having Bryan be the guy that stood in his way, that could be the guy that's going to eliminate him, and working their way back to that story is very good. And him coming out with the tights again and the black towel again, signifying, all right, I'm going back to the pro wrestling thing because this is how I beat you before, and it wasn't enough to beat him. And you still saw in this match that he was still conflicted about who he is. He had Bryan on the ropes at one point, and he did the dance. And that's what allowed Bryan to get back in the match and win it. And I think that there's very interesting things they've done here. I feel like the stuff they've done in the tournament is more interesting than anything they've been doing with him and JAS for like the last few weeks. I feel like this is added so much to the Blackpool Combat Club stuff, and it's kind of like made the Jericho Appreciation Society stuff worth it as well, because it just feels like those are two facets of the same character, and you're seeing where he's trying to figure out, all right, maybe I'm not just a pro wrestler, maybe I'm not just a sports entertainer, maybe I'm somewhere in between. How do I find that right balance? And I think that's a good story. I think that's a good way to I don't know, put this guy over and elevate him in some way without giving him the wins. I think the character stuff he's been doing is very, very good. The promos he's been cutting after these losses have been tremendous. I've seen people
Mm-hmm.
go, "All right, watching this on TV, it feels very much like the G1 where
Yep.
they do like those post match interviews and they give like the promos in there. It feels very similar to that. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it. I see people all the time. They're like, "Oh, this is so good. Why isn't it on TV?" I'm like, "Yeah, you guys keep saying
It's
you
a
want this to,
purpose.
you guys keep saying you want this to be more like the G1, and this is exactly what we get in the G1. You get the fire
Mm-hmm.
matches, and then you get like the YouTube exclusive or like the social media interviews afterwards."
And then they'll use like parts of that, like to it, like you'll see parts of like those little post match things and like promos they use later, but
Yeah,
you don't see them in full here. So yeah, I totally understand that. Daniel Garcia has also been telling a really good story with that submission finisher that he uses, the extended sharpshooter, where he leans back and it never works, but he keeps telling this story.
yeah,
Bro, get a new finisher, man. It's not working. And why did you try it with Bryan Danielson of all people? You know that he was going to pull you back into it. No, I think the story, that's you made a great point there, Phil, of him being kind of conflicted and stuck between sports entertainer and wrestler. And it's like, maybe if I just utilize both to my full capacity, I could be the wrestler that I should be. Adding on with the promos too, I think is just like made his character even better, man. It's like this tournament, I knew it was going to be good for a bunch of the other guys in the tournament, like Daniel Garcia, like Brody King, the ones that, like Roosh, that kind of like need a little extra boost. But has been even better than I expected. Roosh has shown that he is a big match wrestler. Like all of his
yeah,
matches feel like an event. They
yeah.
feel like important. They feel like something. He is a step above so many wrestlers.
Yeah, he looks great. He's only won one of his matches, but man, he's gotten so much out of this tournament, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I feel like they're other than Garcia, like I said, Brody as well. Brody is sitting the top of the blue league at this point with 6 points. He's won two matches. Big upset over Eddie Kingston in the first round.
Yep.
But that's another one of really good stories coming out of this is what they're doing with Eddie Kingston.
Hmm.
He's getting a quintessential slow Naito start where he loses the first two matches. I think he's going to go on to win the next few. He's got Claudio in his match tonight.
Yeah.
Um, and that's an elimination match for him because he's already lost two matches. The fact that he's coming into an elimination match and he's got Claudio as the next opponent, I think that's really good. I think that's going to light a fire under him to win the next few matches. I really feel like he's going to end up going all the way to the Blue League finals, and I feel like he is going to make it all the way to the finals, honestly. Um,
Yeah,
I,
this feels like the story that they're going to tell, especially with you want to. I think you need the passion of Eddie Kingston. The two losses tells a great story because he's going to get those super passionate promos, and then it's going to tell the story for the rest of the tournament. He coming into this tournament, we knew that I kind of knew that Eddie Kingston was going to get off to a slow start because
mhm.
that's the story that his character tells continuously, and him coming from behind and getting to the finals or potentially winning this thing, I think is the story to tell because a lot of fans want to get behind Eddie Kingston for something, and him potentially being the Triple Crown champion, I think is a good look for him.
Yeah, yeah. I just think you look at the stories they've been telling coming into the tournament. Um, they had a lot of stuff with him and Mox coming into the tournament. I feel like
That's
Mox
the
is going to
story.
be the guy that comes out of the Gold League, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that Eddie's going to come out of the Blue League, and that's going to be the finals match at World's End.
Mm.
But currently, at the top of the Blue League, it's Brody King. I think that Brian's right under him with
Mm-hmm.
6 points as well. Then on the Gold League side, John Moxley is at the top, undefeated, along with Swerve
Ooh.
Strickland,
Oh,
also
this
undefeated.
Wednesday. Wow, 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 wow. Swerve and John Moxley are going to face off this Wednesday. It's so much. I've been saying this tournament is John Moxley's to lose. I think like coming into this, like Mox is the guy. It's like you have to beat him in order to win this tournament. You gotta beat him because he is the ace of AEW. That promo he did this week, amazing. The promo he does every week is fire. He just like cannot miss at this point. But them facing off this week and Swerve being like, "Yo, I'm coming for you, big dog," and Mox being like, "I've been waiting," is like, yes, this is about to be super fire. A great match addition to Winter is Coming. And getting things like this is like, I think the most important thing of this tournament is like, we're going to see, we could begin to tell stories for the future. Like I felt like the John Moxley and Roosh match this week was great. I was talking about it with Denise. It was a great match, but like, I didn't feel like they got into like the highest gear they could have got into. It was fire. They did exactly what we needed to, but there's a match in there with these two that's like going to change the game. And this set that up, and I think that Swerve and Moxley this week is going to do the same type of thing.
Yeah, I think the fact that Moxley and Swerve both are tied for the most points in the tournament is really cool, and then having a stare down afterwards was cool. Of course, it is a tie back to, I think it's the Renee interview with Swerve, where Renee tells him that he's like secretly like this big Swerve fan because he found out he was kill shot. And I think like just that in itself is cool. But nah, John Moxley is John Moxley. Still has like big star aura every time he comes out there. He looks tremendous. The matches are good. The promo, man, that promo he cut was amazing. There's a lot of real world stuff, it seems like, in there, letting us know that he's dealing with a lot of injury stuff, some depression stuff. I don't know if that part of it is real, but this is a guy that had some issues with addiction. And, you know, some people that deal with addiction also deal with depression after the fact.
Yep.
And so I could very much see that. But, yeah, him burying himself in work and still has not taken a vacation, will not take a vacation, no days off for this guy. But bury himself in work and still having like these fire performances. This guy just had an incredible match with Orange Cassidy at the last pay-per-view, and we're looking at possibly getting another big match from him coming up in the tournament finals or the Gold League finals. Sorry. And I think the Gold League finals is going to be Mox versus Swerve, of course, because they both have the most points. But I do think that Moxley is going to move on to the finals.
Yeah, David Reed says that backstage stare down with Mox Swerve got me jumping out of my chair. Next Wednesday is getting here too slow. Yeah, I think that's so cool about pro wrestling is that like sometimes a stare down could just like get people hyped. And this felt like that. Like anytime you see wrestlers that have been in the company together for a while but haven't interacted, and you're like, oh, they're going to interact, it's always such a big moment.
Yeah. I thought both of those guys looked massive in that moment. I thought it made Swerve look great. It continues to make Swerve look like he's the next man up. Yeah. Swerve also out there on the field at the Jaguars game.
Swerve is outside.
I keep saying, man, this guy's next up, bro.
Give him the belt, bro. It's getting into inevitable. This guy's the guy. We got to do something about this very soon. Will Chisholm says Thunder is wishing all talk about is them winning and not the guy on their team. Thunder is thinking they're happy that they're talking about wins and not about the awful guy that they have.
Josh Giddey controversy. Allegations around him are nuts. Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know enough about it, but it sounds crazy.
I'm like, the 3 pictures that I seen, I'm like, take him to jail. But allegations, I don't know, man. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
Glassdoor Gamer says, not feeling PG Punk, too sanitized. We're definitely going to get into it. Coy Stallings also says, Kai got hurt last night. We need a defender.
Oh, Kyrie got hurt?
Did he?
Unfortunate. Dallas won that game though, so I know. But I don't know. That's the other thing you're gonna get when you get Kyrie Irving. Of course, he's gonna get injured some. I mean, he came into the league when he got drafted. He got drafted with questions around him because he was injured during that college season before he even got drafted. So, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with injuries, unfortunately.
Unfortunate. Glassdoor Gamer says, seems like Swerve Lee might be on the table. Yes, to my dismay. God damn it.
It does. Because if you've been watching Collision, Keith Lee has been cutting promos, and he has been saying, I'm coming for him. And that's led people to questions of who is him. And I think that it could possibly be Swerve. Now, of course, we got the interaction with him and Shane Taylor this week. So maybe he's talking about Shane all this time. I don't know. But that is the match that's coming up for Final Battle as well. that's gonna be fire. They had that great tag match at Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Am I drawing a blank on?
Death Before Dishonor, I think maybe. I can't remember exactly one, but yeah, that match was fire.
It was Death Before Dishonor because it was on the same. It was on the same card with the tag match.
Right.
The Briscoes versus FDR.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the tag match was cool, but yeah, I think the one-on-one match is gonna be even better.
I've said on multiple podcasts that this match will probably never happen again, so I don't want people running back my clips. That's the only reason I don't. No, I just want it to happen so people finally stop saying Swerve and Keith Lee. Just do the freaking match already, you guys. Jeez
Yeah,
Louise.
Lewis is saying that we are wrong, that it was Final Battle last year.
Oh,
Thank you,
okay.
Luis.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is one of those last things for a lot of fans. They're like, oh, well, Swerve had unfinished business with Keith. Oh, when are you going to finish up this storyline? I think if you're ready to move this guy out of where he was as a mid-carder and push this guy effectively into the main event, I think you do have to wrap that up. So I don't mind going back to it.
Okay, that makes sense. New Rack says Bryan Danielson has a Wrestler of the Year case with wildly banged up body while having wrestled for only 6 months. Hope he could find Kenny for not being in the Continental Classic. Why is Kenny stuck in the Jericho vortex?
Yeah, we got that quote from Bryan this week that he wanted him to be in the Continental Classic like all the rest of us, and I was just like, yeah. I know.
I thought that was super interesting. I'm like, okay, Brian's saying what we're all thinking now, like what's going on here. But also, like, for real though, like, why wasn't Kenny Omega in this tournament? Like, that's even more like sometimes those like little clips and things like that could be a curse because I'm like, well, why did you say that? Because I'm thinking the same thing too. And it's like, was there some miscommunication? What was going on here? Why isn't Kenny Omega in this tournament?
Yeah, I really wanted him in it, but it is what it is. It's been a good tournament without him, but it's Kenny Omega. This guy started the year giving us some great singles matches. I would love to see him in this tournament. Also got Takeshita sighting recently. I'm like, yeah, Takeshita's another one that should have been in this tournament.
But now, I mean, thinking about if you want to continue this tournament for many years, Bryan Danielson will be out next year. Next year could just be Kenny Omega's tournament. So
maybe,
I guess if we're shooting some bail. Matt Raikeel says, happy Saturday, Phil and Reg. Lots of graps today. NXT's on, Impact's on, and Collision's on. Final battles and that 6-man match next week are going to be insane.
That's right. We also got the announcement with Bryan being on this.
Speaking of Bryan Danielson, yeah.
On this end of the year run, he is going to be at Final Battle along with the rest of Bullet Club, Blackpool Combat Club, with the rest of Blackpool Combat Club, taking on FDR and Mark Briscoe. It's going to be a fire match.
Yeah, surprising to see that it's going to be Mox and Claudio. I'm guessing they're going to have a pure title match for Yuta on this show. Kind of along with the Bryan's been on his press run this week, kind of getting his stuff off. And he said potentially there could be some new BCC members in the future. So I think like another kind of cool thing of like what's happening with him in this tournament and what's going to happen leading into the future is all of his matches are going to seem like tests for people he wants in the BCC. So he's going to continuously be that angry teacher, Bryan Danielson, and we're going to eventually see somebody new in this faction. And I think that's just really dope.
Yeah.
Yes, boy says, shout out to HBK saying Punk left on his own terms.
Yeah, I definitely laughed at the idea that HBK would approve of this.
So funny.
Very, very funny. But I also very much love the idea that we're looking at possibly getting Rollins and Punk, and we're talking about like the unknown Brett guy going against like a modern HBK guy.
Yeah.
Possibly at WrestleMania. That's pretty damn cool.
That's pretty good. I like it. That tie-in is really dope to me, and they might like really tie them into this thing, which is also dope. Yeah, we're gonna get into the Punk stuff really soon, guys. Steph the Writer says, I want Mox to be champ when Swerve comes for the title.
I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah. The other half says, will we see Jamie Hayter or Mercedes at World's End? And where's Otani going?
It seems like Jamie is still injured, so I doubt we see her by the end of the year. I don't know what's going on with the Mercedes stuff. I don't know if we'll see her either. I'm not really, I'm not really a soccer guy, so I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I don't know. I don't know where Otani's going.
Yeah, me neither. Mercedes money. Devil Kazuya says, I wanted to say something clever, but Brian, find me.
um, yeah, I love that he's like leaning into this stuff now. I love that he's getting his jokes off in interviews and on Twitter now because people did, I feel like, overreact to a lot of this. I'm just like,
Totally.
he just was an advisor on the committee. He is just part of the disciplinary process over there. It's not that big of a deal.
It's funny, last night when I was watching this match and when Bryan Danielson was coming out,
Baseball,
I was
sorry.
just when Bryan Danielson was coming out, I was just the whole time I was thinking like, one, it's crazy that we get to see Bryan Danielson in these situations. One, like being on Rampage randomly, or like any kind of crazy situation we had him in. And two, like a lot of the reason that this company exists. I know I come on here multiple times, like the reason that AEW happened is because of the Young Bucks, but like the reason that a lot of wrestlers are here, the reason that this company is ran the way it is, the reason that the matches happen that they do is because of Bryan Danielson. Like this, like so much of what happens in AEW is based off the foundation that he laid in the independence and the foundation that he laid for what type of wrestling we would see in the future. And we get to see him on a whenever kind of we see basis. And we've seen so many amazing matches this year that I'm like, man, just cherish every moment, you guys. It's over soon. And we should be happy about it being over soon because he is also in these matches that we've talked about so far, destroying his body. He's not taking it easy. It's not like he's like, all right, I got this amount of time left, so I'm gonna walk this one home. No, he's still like 5-star Bryan Danielson from 2001, from 2005. Like he's still that guy. It's really insane to see.
Yep. Everybody is now laughing at me because I said soccer, not
Yeah.
baseball. Sorry, guys, I do not watch baseball.
We
so,
see.
No.
That's all of our super chats for now. Appreciate y'all for submitting.
Let's see. We have humper chats, but screen is loading very slow. And of course, wait all that time for the screen to load, and it won't give me all those humper chats. Great.
We got time.
We got time.
What else happened this week?
Okay, I think I have the humper chats now, even though it's putting them on screen weird. It's just going slow. Here we go. Here we go from Tony P. Says, other than New Orleans versus LA, the tourney's been okay. It still feels very meaningless. He's playing 3 possible extra games with a possibility for a crushing injury for $500K and a participation trophy. If LA wins, we will never hear LA and LeBron fans shut up for weeks. Yeah, of course they're gonna do what they do. Bron fans are gonna herald this as another great accomplishment in his illustrious career. Meanwhile, if somebody like KD won it, they would have acted like it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah,
it's sports fandom. That's what it's going to be. I think some of the tournament games have been good, but I also kind of feel like I still don't feel like this is like a necessary addition to basketball. I mean, we've got some fun games out of it, but I do think that it sets a very weird precedent that you have to put this thing in the middle of the season and offer people $500K to get them motivated to play in regular season.
Right.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. Add some kind of that's kind of the point that I get to is like add some importance to the regular season games if that's what we're gonna do. If you because he talked about it, Adam Silver talking about it being like about ratings and like the younger generation doesn't watch like that. So they try to get them to like they only come around for like playoff games and like the super important games. But if it's just like the middle of the season and they're just going on that they don't get as much as ratings as they do. But like figure out a way to make those other games more important. Then, if that's the case, there has been some good buzz around the NBA with this, so I'm not 100% mad at it. Like when these games are happening, like the timeline is lit. But yeah, it does also kind of feel like the fix is in for the Lakers, though.
You can say that. I can't say that because, of course, I'm a hater. But
Yeah.
more from Tony P says, do you think Diddy is going to have a bigger meltdown during the interview than Robert? Also, Phil, I know you haven't played GTA, but if you did, you understand why Rockstar getting all our asses excited, then hit us with the 2025 was nasty work. Well, that wasn't their intention because they did not plan to put that trailer out. They put the trailer out because it leaked, and so they were forced to put the trailer out, and then of course people were like, "Oh man, we're getting new GTA," and it's like, "Well, pump your brakes, guys.
Hold on
2025."
GTA fans should be used to this, man. They've been playing GTA 5 for like the last 15 years. Just like continue to play, and you're gonna love it when it does come out. Their hand has been forced so many times because people continuously leak stuff, screenshots, and find their dad's game development thing, and it's like you guys do this and then mad when they're like, no, the game's not ready at all, not even close.
Yeah. That was a very interesting day, of course, with me telling people I have never played GTA, and people be like, how is this possible? I don't know, just have never played it.
It's not really that hard. It's not really that hard to not have played a game.
Yeah, as for the Diddy thing, the idea of Diddy doing a Gale interview sounds very, very funny. I don't think that he's going to have the public meltdown that Robert Kelly did, but yeah, it does look funny. It does look real funny in the life for him right now. We're up to 4 women, I think, coming out with allegations. Nasty. Don't look good for him. Didn't look good from him from the very beginning, but it looks even worse.
And that weak ass little note tap apology put out this week, like you could
wasn't an apology. I thought it was just basically like, I'm gonna fight because people are accusing me of things I didn't do. Blah,
I don't
blah,
know
blah,
what
blah.
the hell that was, but whatever it was, he could have kept that. Like that's nobody wants that.
Yeah, not for me. But
it's all really nasty.
it all looks away, man. It all looks not good. It also goes on to say, petty of the week goes to Bryan. This man is finding new ways to do work injuries to freak people the fuck out, along with handing out fines. But for real, and those indie promoters being cheap with water. They're trying to justify it badly at that. I missed the water stuff, so I didn't know what people were talking about when I got back on Twitter. But at one point, water was everywhere. Matt Cardona just tweeted like #water, and I was just like, what is going on? So I don't know the story behind any of this.
Yeah, there was a debate online on kind of etiquette with indie wrestling and how the promoter should handle the wrestlers, and if there should be a case of water backstage or a couple cases of water backstage for the wrestlers. A case of water over here, I live in California, it's $4 for a case of water. Some places you can get a case of water for $2, like 36 water, a lot of water. Promoters online one promoter said, that's not my responsibility. I'm already paying you to wrestle. He said, you should come to the show hydrated already. He told a wrestler that on Facebook. You should come to the show hydrated already. I'm like, this is a sick world we live in. And so, yeah, that's when Matt Cardona was like, yo, what are you guys talking about? Like, how are you not supplying these for wrestlers? Like, if I'm at a show, I'll buy the cases. And then that came into, and then people started running with the bits. But yeah, there's some promoters that like, you guys don't deserve to have water. And like, you don't deserve to run a wrestling show. What the fuck is going on here? Telling a wrestler you should have came dehydrated already or came hydrated already is insane.
It's just water. I mean, certain promotions also provide catering. It's water. Like it's not. I don't really get it, but
having somebody go out and wrestle 35 minutes and then they come to the back and you're just like, hope you were hydrated before you did the match. It's crazy as hell. Like, what are they supposed to drink?
Penny
Sick
pension.
World. Yeah. Sick world.
More from Tony P says, I asked Sean if he sees TDM as the new feud to enter over the lights out, which I think is now, and he agrees. My question is, do you feel there is still good use of or need for lights out now? I say use it a TV feud, Ender, and the TDM for
Oh,
pay per
Texas
view.
Death Match. I was like,
Yeah,
hell,
Texas
look at these
Deathmatch.
women.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what he meant by that as well, but yeah,
Hmm.
Texas Deathmatch.
Hmm. I get kind of confused on the lights out thing. I'm honestly kind of confuses me as a wrestling fan sometimes when they're like, "This is unsanctioned. This is this." The light. I'm like, "What are you guys talking about?" Like, what? But I guess that was more important when they had the rankings. Like, it doesn't play as much anymore, so they haven't done them as much.
Yeah, I just think I don't want to see it turn into like what WWE does with like Hell in a Cell and some things
Right.
where it just feels like it's a like, hey, we have a feud, so let's just throw this at the end of it because it's
Hmm.
obligatory heated feud. Like,
Hmm.
if the feud calls for it, sure. And I think like the Texas Death Match is so like specific to Hangman's character. He's
Hmm.
done that match with so many guys. Like if it's with him and he has like a heated feud, I get it. But if you're just throwing any wrestlers in that match, not really.
And it shouldn't be every Hangman feud shouldn't end with the Texas Death Match. Also.
No, no. I think Tony P's got one more for us. He said the Swerve wins the Continental Classic. Should he be world champion at the beginning of 2024 or the middle/end of 2024, or if he loses CC finals and goes for the world title at Revolution? The Punk promo was great, and as always, creates discourse. This time about reactions. Um, yeah, I don't know. I again, I feel like Swerve is probably possibly gonna lose in the league finals. I don't think that he's going to go all the way here, unfortunately. Um, but I think the fact that he's had such a great run in the tournament is a good sign. It
Hmm.
shows that they still are very much invested in this guy because they've
Hmm.
kept up his momentum after the Hangman feud. Hangman cut a great promo as well this week where he let us all know it ain't over. He has not forgotten about any of this Hangman stuff. I mean Swerve stuff, even though Swerve is 2-0 against the guy.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think that he's gonna win, but I also think that there's a very good chance that Swerve could be champion by mid 2024.
Yeah, I going into the summer, I could definitely see Swerve as being champion. I don't know if he's gonna win this. I think this tournament for Swerve has been more of a like, look, this is what you guys got. The crowds have been insane for him. His matches have been great. He's been carrying himself like a main eventer. This is just more like cementing as this is a top guy, and very, very soon, very, very, very soon, he's gonna be AEW World Champion. I can't see us being at the end of 2024 and him not have been AEW World Champ. If it does happen, I'd be very upset and I'd fight some people in AEW if they did that.
Yeah. I think regardless if he wins this tournament or not, I think that
Yeah.
he will be champion sometime in 2024.
Hmm.
The Hangman stuff was very interesting this week because it made me feel like Hangman may be trying to stake his claim at a title shot soon.
Mm.
So I don't know. I don't know if that means that we'll see him versus Swerve sometime next year for the title. I don't know if that means
Oh, that's how you bring it back, huh?
I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know what that means, but I thought the promo this week was some of the best we've seen from Hangman in a while. Of course, he had some good promos during his Swerve program as well, but I thought this was really good. I thought that the Max stuff was good as well. I thought the Max stuff for the last 2 weeks has been a lot better.
Yeah, a lot stronger. This backstage promo I thought was really good. Hangman kind of being like, I'm not trying to do this, and Max forcing him to come back and them just getting into each other's title reigns, getting into how they feel about each other. I thought was really great work. Hangman, anytime he gets kind of locked into like, I'm not here for your bullshit and I'm about to cook your ass, was great. I thought he got Max on the rope. Max at anytime Max kind of has to take a step back and breathe in, I'm like, oh, they got him. They got him. And Hangman got him in that position this week. So I thought it was really good. And then some Joe coming in. Joe has been playing a really great role too of like, I'm his bodyguard, but also I might be a step or two behind on accident type deal. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, they threw a nice little red herring in there that Max got jumped backstage and it looked like he got hit in the back of his head with a glass bottle. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, are you
Mm.
trying to hint that Hangman might be the devil? I don't believe you, but a
No.
nice little red herring.
Zero belief at all. But they did kind of tell that story in the promo. Max is like, "What if it is you?" And then bringing it back around was great. I hated that angle though. I hated them telling us we're gonna get that match and then not giving us that match.
Yeah,
Don't
I
like
mean,
it.
well,
Not a fan.
Well, Max was injured, so I felt like they were going to figure out a way
right,
to
totally.
work around the match anyway. I didn't figure he was going to wrestle that match, so I was figuring what was going to happen ahead of time. But I'm not a big fan of that either.
Yeah.
I guess I just had already assumed they were going to figure out a way, even if they did, to have the match for Joe to do most of the work in the match.
Same here, but like, quit selling us on these things. Like, somebody's potentially injured, or we know they're injured, so you're selling us on the match with them. I don't want that.
Yeah, I agree. See, from Bizarro Big L, he says, "Sup, fellas, shaking off a curse. I asked Danhausen for forgiveness. I woke up on the couch, burnt my hand with coffee, and then my coffee creamer separated. So let's have some good grabs today. Reg, how you feeling about Final Battle, BCC versus them Top Boys hits?"
Yeah, well, I guess we could get into a little bit of it because they've announced some pretty pivotal things this week on the Honor Club show. I think most importantly is the main event's going to be for the ROH Women's World Championship. Athena is going to be taking on Billy Starks. The best story being told on Honor Club all year. Athena's main eventing another Ring of Honor pay-per-view, rightfully so. She has been, we've talked on this podcast so many times how great she's been, and this is just going to be the crowning moment of the year to be like, this is what I did and this is how I'm topping it off. Billy Starks has been playing great in her role. Their brawl this week was insane. Athena tried to kill her with the power bomb on the outside. I'm like, why are you trying to kill this little girl? Athena, relax. I thought Billy Starks was great in the role, playing kind of not letting Athena really get off on her. She's fighting security, she's fighting referees, she's doing her thing. Really strong stuff going into it. But yeah, Bryan Danielson on Ring of Honor pay-per-view. That's all you really have to say. They could have had any match in the world and it would have been great, but they're giving us this crazy, insane banger BCC against FTR, Mark Briscoe, as a Jay Briscoe tribute to also just kind of like the most important part of this. That match is going to be everything we've ever wanted. Bryan Danielson just in the conversation of anything Ring of Honor is going to be amazing. They've kind of established themselves as a final battle, something, with that match last year and the things that they've done. Mark Briscoe's such an important, pivotal role to Ring of Honor. This is great. Mox is going to be in Ring of Honor. Everything about this is awesome. And then, Swerve, Shane Taylor and Keith Lee, I think, has been a feud building for a really long time. They have such a long history. They were a tag team in Ring of Honor. They've had the tag team match in the Ring of Honor pay-per-view before. They're bringing it back around. They're crowning a new TV champ, as Samoa Joe, we know, gave it up a few weeks ago. There's going to be somebody new. I'm hoping it's Dalton Castle. I think he's played the best. He's carried the flag for Ring of Honor for so long and so hard on the show that I think he deserves to get a match for this. Two things I am very upset about in this, though, is one, the Ring of Honor championship is tied to the Continental Classic, so it's nowhere to be found. And also, the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions are tied to Max, so they're nowhere to be found. Two most important championships in the company. Final Battle is, if you know anything about Ring of Honor history, Final Battle is the final battle of the year. It's where you top off everything. Usually, the Ring of Honor World Championship is defended. Usually, the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships are defended. So to have a final battle without that is very weird, and I can't get around it.
Yeah, I agree. I do think Dalton Castle should win, just because he's been waving the flag, like you said, for so long. Still very much over. Every time the guy's on TV, he gets a great reaction. Even when he's not, like I've just gone to shows and he comes out and the crowd just goes nuts for him. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to be the next television champion. I want them to get back to like doing big feuds with the pure belts again. I thought that was one of the things that ROH did really well under TK initially, and then they just kind of went away from it. I like the stuff they're doing with Yuta now. It's a 3-time pure champion, but man, get some feuds there, man. Get some big matches. I think we're possibly going to get a match with Hook at some point.
It feels like they're building to that,
but it just feels like they could do more.
And they were built. That's the crazy thing about it is they were building Josh Woods. They were telling the story with Josh Woods wanting to be the pure champion on Honor Club for the last 3 months or something. Like every time he talked, he was like, "I'm gonna beat Shibata's ass. I'm gonna become the pure champion." And then they gave it to Yuta, and it was like, "That's not the story you guys have been telling. What's going on here?" It was weird.
I mean, they had to pivot, of course, because Shibata had to go back to Japan, unfortunately. But yeah, I just wish they would do more with that belt. I don't know. I'm ready for the tag belts to come back to ROH as well.
Definitely.
I'm just ready for a big reset for all of the main ROH titles at this point.
What do you think happens with Athena after this pay-per-view?
I do think that Billy's gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll get a second match with Athena at some point next year, but I think Athena's ready to move on. I think she's ready to go back to the main show.
Yep, been ready too. It's been long overdue. If anything, this whole year in Ring of Honor has showed that, like, no, I should be champion up there. And if nothing happens after this, we're gonna have to have a conversation because Athena showed that she's not only one of the best women's wrestlers in your company, but one of the best in the entire world. So, like, you can't ignore that anymore.
Yeah. Oh no, that's it. There's no way you can deny her anymore at this point. She's too popular on ROH. She's not just too popular. She's been just doing some of the best work of her career, match wise, character wise, story wise. There's no excuse not to move her back to the main show at this point. But I think Billy's a good person to have beat her and move on. And you can do so much with her there. There's so many other women that you can help to build that division around, whether it be Layla Hirsch, Trisha Dora, Lady Frost. You got so many women that you can put up against Billy Stark. It doesn't need a thing anymore.
Right.
As much as she's been like the mainstay for the show and the main reason to watch the show, I think you've just got to build the other champions up and make them more visible on the show after this now. Like,
it's crazy. They have ROH trios champions and they're not anywhere. I mean, half of them, 2/3 of them are in New Japan for the World Tag League. So it's like all the championships are in unfortunate situations at this time. It's like that's a good case because, Gates of Agony are being able to be in the tournament, but like they should have been on somebody else. Then we could have had a match potentially with Top Flight is going to be, I'm sure they'll probably try to get them on pay-per-view at this point because them and Action Andrade have been doing so well. They could have been in a trios match for the trios championships, but you know what? Moments happen, things happen. I digress. But yeah, I think coming into this, they sometimes come very late with the developments of these pay-per-views. And last week I was like, I don't know what's going on, but this week they added the main event is going to be Athena and Billy Starks, and Bryan Danielson is going to be there. It's like, all right, this pay-per-view is going to be what we expect it to be.
I mean, they've done that for the last whatever year with ROH. Well,
Yeah.
we're just like, what's this card going to look like? And then like a week or so beforehand, it comes together and it's like, oh, this kind of looks like some heat.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about the actual product itself. I think the pay-per-view is going to be
Always.
fine. But I just think coming out of this pay-per-view, you gotta come up with a plan for what your titles are gonna look like next year, what your title picture is gonna look like, who's gonna represent the brand. If you're not gonna have Athena as the main character on the show, who becomes the main character moving forward? Gotta answer those questions in 2024.
Man, these questions have been looming. Every time I do that Thursday post show with Kate, those are the questions and they have not answered them. Please answer them, you guys. They've been doing a lot better the last couple weeks. We'll keep it real. The Ring of Honor shows have felt a little bit more focused and a little bit more something. So just continue that. Next year, there has to be like a concrete plan. We can't do this 3 weeks we care, 3 weeks we don't care, then we care for 2 weeks, then we don't. Like, we got to there has to be something because this show still represents something. It's still pretty important. There's still wrestlers. Like, I've still been seeing wrestlers talking about their 2024 and Ring of Honor being like a goal for them. So it still holds a special place in pro wrestling, and it still could be the Ring of Honor that we want it to be with not that many tweaks to it. So
yeah, I think the good thing about it, at least now, is that it's seen as a place where women can go to succeed.
Yes.
I think that's really one of the great things about what Athena has done with ROH. She's just changed the perception of what women can go to Ring of Honor and do because that wasn't a thing before. There was no there was stuff before, like we had like all of this like controversial stuff at one point that did not sound good. Even before that, they didn't have a belt. Like when Deanna was there, like there was no belt. And so like they've come a long way with women's wrestling in Ring of Honor, and I think that is one of the best things that Ring of Honor has done this year. But I just would like to I would like for it to feel like a more complete show. That's all.
Totally. Yeah, the women are actually probably the best thing about this whole run, because some shows there's 4 women's matches. They're telling different stories with not just Athena. They're telling stories with Layla Hirsch and Rachel Ellering and Maria. They're consistently telling stories with Trisha Dora and Lady Frost and all these things. I think, like, if you want to really do your thing as a women's wrestler, like, Ring of Honor has become one of the premier places to do it, and that's like pretty important considering how often we talk about women's wrestling, specifically in AEW, and for them to have a sector over here where these women could go and really cook, I think has been great. So
Yeah, and you know what you said before, what Ring of Honor means to so many wrestlers. It's good that now women can see it in the same light that, you know, a lot of other wrestlers saw it as. Like, I want to go there and have this run where, you know, it's kind of like the brand for workers. And so I very much like the idea that women can now do that there as well.
And this is the first women's world championship match to headline a final battle ever. Like, 2 women for the ROH Women's Championship. They've headlined pay-per-views. Athena's already headlined Ring of Honor pay-per-views, but specifically the final battle brand. This is the first time 2 women have ever headlined. So that's like monumental. Like, I remember watching the final battle where Bryan Danielson lost the belt to Homicide and how crazy that was. And so many throughout the years that kind of represent that the times of ROH and what was going to happen, and to know that they've gone from that to like 2 women are going to headline, and Billy just turned 19 yesterday is like, this is crazy.
Yeah, again, when we look back at Athena's ROH run, there's so many things you could take away from it. Not just that she main evented Final Battle, main evented 2 ROH pay-per-views in the first year, had the tremendous feud this year with Willow, had the Layla Hirsch match, of course, all the stuff she's done with Billy. It's really been an amazing run when you just look at everything she's accomplished within a year.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be a good show next week. I was like, when is? Oh, it's next Friday. So we'll talk about it next Saturday.
Yeah. Got a few more Humper chats from Van Twinblade. Family is going to TSO on the 17th, so I'm going to miss the Glory Flow show. Going to miss Outlaw and Swade versus Ethan Price. Sorry, Moses versus PME TLC match. Camaro Warhorse something triple threat match. Rohi versus Coco Lane with Ethan Page as referee. Sad times, y'all.
You know, you'll catch the next one, Van Twinblade. Shout out to all the Glory Pro. Check out their show Ascend that happens every week. They post it on their Twitter. They post it on their YouTube. They're doing some great stuff as always. Shout out to Van Twinblade.
See, from Tony P says, do we get Seth Punk at the Rumble or Mania? If WrestleMania, I feel Cody has to win the Rumble because it will look dumb if it's Punk. And he says Seth when Roman is the real main eventer. Also, do you think Mania plays out for the free agents? I think you mean free agents. FAs will factor into their decisions. Also, do you think how Mania plays out for free agents? Will factor into their decisions. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
It seems like Punk declared for the Royal Rumble last night on the show, so I don't know if they're going to do the one-on-one.
It does seem that way. Guess that's kind of a good place to get into the Punk stuff on SmackDown. The Tribute to the Truth episodes are always interesting because
they are.
It's very much very extreme patriotism. You got to get it from the beginning the show opens to on. You're going to get all the country music playing. You're going to get all of the flag and all the.
It's hard to digest, Phil, if I'm keeping it honest.
It's a lot. It's very much overload for me sometimes. And I mean, of course, appreciation to the men and women that serve.
Of course, yeah, it's not about that.
But it's just some of it is just it's overload. But they did 2 good things during this episode. Of course, I thought the starting the United States Championship tournament here made a lot of sense because you're trying to get to Tribute to the Truth. I think what they're doing with the tournament is interesting, even though it feels like they're very much telegraphing that Cameron Owens is going to win it.
They are.
But, you know, the big talking point, of course, we got CM Punk on SmackDown for the first time in 9 years. I thought, of course, this promo was way better than the Raw promo.
Oh, extremely bad. It's like night and day.
He kind of confirmed that he was short for time in the Raw promo, where it was just like, hey, here you go, close the show, you get 6 minutes. And this time he didn't get he got more time. He got a chance to get comfortable in front of the crowd, and it was just way better. He got a chance to come out there and get the crowd into it, get the crowd pumped up in it. And, it felt very much like some of this stuff was off the cuff. He didn't feel overproduced.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like this was scripted. It felt like he just got out there and just, laid it off some shots. I thought it was very much needed after the first one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Big time.
Because not just the stuff that he said in there that is a little bit cringe-inducing, like I'm home and whatever have you. Also coming out and acknowledging that he saw what fans thought of the first promo was interesting. But I think that he needed to get straight into storylines, man, because I feel like that's where he's at his best, when he has targets, when he has like things to talk about. If he's just like kind of rattling out like his thoughts, is not always as good. And I thought this was better because it was focused. The main point of it is, I want a main event WrestleMania. That's the thing I've been telling you guys since I left the company in 2014. I wanted to main event WrestleMania. I never got that. And so, of course, when I came back to the company, that's my main goal, to main event WrestleMania. Him, of course, saying that he could go into the Rumble and then pointing at the sign sounds absolutely absurd to me. I just I cannot picture CM Punk pointing at the WrestleMania sign, but of course it's going to happen, even if he wins the Rumble or not, because it's WrestleMania season. Everybody points at the sign. It just sounds wild, this guy doing it.
There was a lot of interesting points in this last night, Phil. Him trying to make what would have went over like gangbusters in AEW by saying blah blah blah, you can't punch people in the back. That AEW crowd would have ate it up. WWE crowds were like, dude, talk about Roman Reigns. We don't care about none of that. Like it's like he thought he could. Not even thought he thought. It's like he is kind of used to just talking to a hardcore crowd, a different crowd where you could tell them and do different things. And this crowd was like, we don't care about none of that, bro. When he was trying to set him up for something, and they were like, no, bro, set us up for Roman Reigns. Like, we want to hear about you and Seth Rollins. We want to hear about you and Cody Rhodes. We don't care about nothing that happened before this. We don't care about nothing that happened when you were gone. I want to see what's happening now and what's happening moving forward. And I thought that was pretty interesting and pretty telling about how these crowds and these fans and how this tribalism shit works. That shows me that WWE fans don't care about nothing but WWE. That's it. That is all. You don't exist. You don't care. You don't matter unless you are here. You haven't wrestled at WrestleMania. Don't matter. You haven't been on Raw. I don't care about you. This is all about this show. And it's like, that's fine. I'm not even mad about it. I just think that we need to rethink when we're arguing with these people online, because there's only one way for them.
Yeah, I just think it's two different audiences. I think that the AEW audience is different. They're more of a hardcore wrestling fandom. They're more of a tapped in fandom when it comes to like backstage stuff, like wrestling media stuff, wrestling podcast stuff. The casual WWE crowd is just different. And that's not to say that there aren't hardcore wrestling fans that are WWE fans.
There definitely are.
There are, but I just think that the crowd that goes to shows is just different, man.
Way different.
There's a larger percentage of people that go to those shows that are casual fans that don't care about any of that stuff. They don't care about internet wrestling discourse. They don't care about backstage stuff. They only care about, hey, I'm here to see the greatest hits. I'm here to see all of the stars, all of that stuff. I don't care about this. And some of those people don't even watch wrestling every week. They don't care about that stuff. Coming to a wrestling show is just like a night out. Like, it's just not the same.
It isn't. It's like, I talked to some people that are like, oh, I haven't watched wrestling in a year, but wrestling was in town, so I came. Like,
man, so I just wanted to go. The casual fans that go to those shows is just different. And then on top of that, this is tribute to the troops. This is like
Right.
military fans. They're just
Oh
different.
yeah, that's another factor. I didn't even
So
really think about that.
it's just different. But I did think it was very funny that he did the Raw promo and people were like, what about the AEW references? And then he made an AEW reference and it just didn't go over well. And I mean, he did the promo itself went over fine. Like the crowd was into it, but they couldn't have cared less about that reference. That
Right.
he did get the CM Punk chant after that, but it was noticeably quiet right after the reference because they did not care. And I thought it was a funny way to bring up the reference as well, because he immediately got into the Kevin Owens stuff. And of course, as we know from the rumor that he wanted the Kevin Owens match, reportedly wanted the Kevin Owens match coming back to wrestle for WWE, but Kevin Owens may or may not want that match with this guy, may or may not like this guy.
That was my favorite part of the promos, Phil, is he immediately, like you said, he started telling storylines, but there's more to the storylines because he immediately addressed all three of the people that are supposedly his like real life ops. He immediately got into Kevin Owens, who's Young Bucks are his homeboys. So there's a huge tie into this. He immediately addressed Seth Rollins, who hasn't stopped talking shit about him since he left. And he immediately got into Roman Reigns, who like there's so much controversy surrounding that.
So there's so much to read into with stuff he said. And that's I also you could tell it was off the cuff because some of the stuff I was like bringing up Kevin Owens, for example, and the way he brought up Kevin Owens, he was like, yeah, some people want that match. We might have to pump our brakes on that because we might be too alike. And I was like, yeah, maybe that's
when he said we might be too alike, I was like, that's hilarious.
All right. That stuff was great. Him bringing up the Heyman stuff right away. He teased it in the first promo, but as soon as he was on SmackDown, he called out Roman by name, which gasp, you can go on TV and call out Roman Reigns by name? You don't have to be afraid of this guy. Like, just say his name. Say you want to wrestle him. I thought the way he did it was great. Mentioning the Heyman stuff. Mentioning that this guy is not on TV much. I enjoyed all of that. I thought it was very funny that he did not mention Seth Rollins by name. He just said, one guy has not wanted me here, and he's not even the man in his own household. I was just sitting there the whole time like, dang, not too much on my guy, but get your shit off.
Our guy Phil is stuck in the middle right here.
I was like, get your shit off though. But I thought the way he addressed it was good. I thought the way, again, he made the focus main eventing WrestleMania, and he very much made a point that he wants to finish his story. In order to finish his story, he might have to come into conflict with Cody Rhodes. The idea that two of the biggest AEW stars are possibly fighting for a chance to main event WrestleMania sounds absolutely nuts.
You know what was the funniest part about the Cody Rhodes thing to me is he goes, this guy welcomed me back with open arms. I'm like, you guys
are a funny guy, man.
You guys are so funny, man.
He's a funny guy.
He welcomed me back with open arms. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm like, y'all are playing a really, really, really funny game here. This is like, so last week we came on this podcast and I was like, I didn't like it, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't about the content. It was just about the passion. And to this promo last night is exactly what I wanted. I just want him to be CM Punk, and he felt like CM Punk. That's it. He didn't feel like CM Punk last week, and this felt like it. And that's all that I really wanted. So I like the promo.
Yeah, this was still very much WWE. CM
Definitely,
Punk as well.
It was watered down for sure.
It was restrained in some ways, but it did feel like the energy that I wanted from the first promo. He was calling people out. He was setting up feuds right away. So I was into it. I also think the thing that worked about this more than the Raw debut is that it wasn't just that he cut the promo. He was very much present in backstage segments as well. It felt like he was a part of the show. It didn't feel like they just plopped this 6-minute or whatever minute Punk promo at the end of the show. And it's just like, all right, guys, well, see you guys next week.
Like, I feel like Raw, they had him sitting in his car until it's like, oh, all right, your segment's coming out. Get out of your car and go to the ring and go back to your car. Like, SmackDown felt like he's on this show, and that it's a much different. They teased the thing with the bloodline. He talked to Kevin Owens backstage. He talked to Cody backstage. Like, it felt like he's a part of this show. And last week, it felt like he was an outsider. And that's not really the way that the WWE universe wants him to be brought in. They want you to treat him like he's a big star, like they think he is. They want you to act like he's CM Punk. He's not an outsider anymore. He's back.
Yeah, for sure. I thought all the interactions backstage were good. I thought the Cody interaction was good, where Cody was just like, trying to finish your story, huh? So I think that's good. I do very much feel like I did not think this going into Royal Rumble initially, but I do feel like there's a good chance that Punk can win the Rumble. He's never won a Rumble. Yeah. I think that's the easiest way to set up the World Heavyweight title match. And
with how they were selling it last night, I was like, oh, okay, maybe. I don't know. Punk, even Cody being involved too, I was like, oh, all right, I see.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance he can win. And I don't agree with Tony, because Tony was basically saying that it would make sense. But I think if you want people to care about the World Heavyweight title, having that be a marquee match, having CM Punk come back right away and challenge for that belt the second he comes back, I think that does add some weight to that belt. It does add to the lineage of that belt.
You know who's not going to like that, though, that expressed his interest this week? Oh, Bobby Lashley. He said he hopes that CM Punk doesn't come back and do that.
Well, everything he said made sense. And I think people are looking at it in a sense of he might have beef with CM Punk. I didn't read it the same way.
That's not what he was saying.
Yeah. I read it as what we see wrestling as at all the time, that when it's a black wrestler, why do we always have to wait? But when certain people come in, they get pushed right, because we know how Bobby Lashley's run initially started with WWE when he first came back. It
was like 3 years of like bullshit.
Yeah, he came back and he looked the part. He looked like a big star. And then they had him doing the sisters joint with Sammy. That was awful. It took him a minute to finally get something that worked with Leo, and then even that didn't last long. And then the second he got something with Hurt Business that worked, they immediately axed that as well. So I don't think he's saying it from a place of he doesn't like Punk. I think he's seeing it from his point of view of, I came back here and I had to struggle to get to this place. So do it to him too. Don't just do me like that. Do it to him too. Now, unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case.
Definitely not going to be the case. I feel you, Bobby Lashley, and especially after like seeing what Cody did, because Cody came in and did that exact thing. Like Cody had the run up, left the company, and immediately came back, and he's world champion. But that didn't happen for Lashley. But yeah, Lashley, you're going to be on a single island by yourself, because this man is going to do everything there is to do off rip. Like I said, yesterday, I probably wouldn't have said I expected him to win yesterday morning to win the Royal Rumble. But after watching SmackDown, I'm like, I think he might win the Royal Rumble at this point. So strap in.
I think there's a very good chance he could win a Rumble. And I very much like the idea that, Cody has been saying he wants to finish the story for almost 2 years now. And then he looks to be headed to the Rumble to go back. And then all of a sudden, this guy comes back, and now he's standing in his way. Now it's another obstacle to him getting his match with Roman. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I don't think Cody's going to win. Even if Punk doesn't win the Rumble, I still don't think Cody's going to win. I still think Cody's going to have to win this title match some other way.
And then you could have a Cody and Punk feud also, like in the aftermath of all of this. Well, how do you get back to Cody and Roman, though?
I think
Elimination Chamber or something?
Yeah, I think Cody's probably going to win Elimination Chamber. But yeah, I think the other good thing about the Punk promo is he set up so many things at the same time. He set up possible stuff with Kevin Owens. He set up stuff with Roman. Set up the Rollins feud.
Paul Heyman
stuff he laid in there. The Paul Heyman stuff is very interesting because, Paul Heyman is not known to be the most loyal guy. And if you look at the way that Cody prophesized how this would go after the WrestleMania match, it's kind of going exactly the way Cody said, because the first person to leave is Jay, then Jimmy's probably going to leave, then Solo's going to leave. The last person to be there is going to be Paul Heyman. And, of course, Paul Heyman is not going to be loyal because he's not a loyal guy. He's always turned on everybody.
I'm thinking about every time that Paul Heyman has joined a Paul Heyman guy, it's been after they returned. He got back with Brock Lesnar in 2012 after he returned. When Roman came back from his hiatus, that's when he got with them. And now Punk's back, and it'd be the perfect time to get back with him.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, one of the last things Punk did with the company was the Paul Heyman stuff, where Paul joined with him in 2012 into 2013. We
We
don't
all
have to.
remember that run.
We don't have to. We don't have to get into any of the Kurt Axel stuff that also happened concurrently with that.
I don't
But,
remember that.
but that was one of the last things Punk did with the company was the Paul Heyman stuff, and of course, he's a notorious Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah.
I think it's only a matter of time before we get into that. And I think if you separate those two guys, that is a great way to make Roman a babyface again, because it's only a matter of time before he turns. He's just too popular. He's gonna be a babyface again eventually.
I want him to be heel so bad though.
I just don't see him being the heel.
Not in WWE. Not after what I saw last night. You can't.
No, I just think there's too much stuff you can do with heel Punk in general that it just makes sense. But yeah, I think the other part about this that's interesting that goes along with what you were saying about how, casual fans are going to respond differently to Punk. It's just not the same audience that it was when Punk left 9 years ago. It's just not the same. That when he came out and said that, they're holding me back, and I'm going against the status quo. I'm going against the man. Certain WWE fans were with him because there was a fatigue with the product. There isn't the same fatigue with the product among the fan base. Most of the fan base loves what WWE's doing.
He's not the voice of the voiceless anymore. The voiceless is not voiceless. Yeah, it's different.
It's not the same. Not only is the voiceless not the same in the company, those voiceless people have moved on and they have other things to watch now. There is AEW, there is ROH, there is all these other things. So it's just not the same. It's just not the same anymore. And I think he's going to have to figure out how to evolve with that fan base. And I think that he can, but I think that was one of my big takeaways from both of his WWE promos so far. It's just not the same fan base.
Yeah, it's a glaring difference too. Is like his entire career he's been that edgy promo guy, the guy that's kind of towing the line, talking about stuff, but like this crowd they don't care about that stuff. They're just like, we want to see you wrestle at the next pay-per-view, or we want to see blah blah blah, and he's gonna have to he's gonna have to be the most WWE superstar he's ever been. Like previously he was just CM Punk kind of ramped up. Now he has to like evolve his character into this billion-dollar company's. He has to be billion-dollar CM Punk, and it's like that's what you signed up for. So it's going to be interesting developments going into this.
Yeah, and I mean it's not just the
CM Punk on like the Today Show or something like that clip of him yesterday signing the posters, and I'm like, man, this guy he's on the Cody run right now. This is crazy.
You know what I immediately thought of? It reminded me of that nightmare footage of Michael Jordan from Space Jam when he imagined what it would be like if he lost the game and he's signing all of those autographs. That's what I immediately thought about. I was like, dang, Swag Camera got him.
For reals though. No, I mean, that's what it'd be like, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's not just that the fan base has changed, but Punk has changed too. He cannot come back and say the same things because of course, it's just different now. And so I'm very curious to see how this goes moving forward, but I think that the SmackDown promo was encouraging. Yeah. I think the most encouraging thing, other than the fact that it was a better promo, is that all of the people that may have had animosity with him are seemingly willing to work with him here. I
think that's also he couldn't work with nobody over here. He can work with everybody you thought he couldn't work with over here,
Boy, but that tells you just how different both companies are at the moment, and how different, the mindset is at both companies.
Like for him to immediately come on and address his ops, like immediately be like Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins is like way different than previously has been stated. Like we've known about him beefing with people. Like he beefed with a bunch of people in AEW, but he rarely was like, the Young Bucks, you guys are garbage, like on TV. You know what I mean? Like it's just
people's names. Yeah, it's just different, man. And I mean, this is Roman Reigns, who people feel like he had this perceived issue with for over 9 years at this point. And so, and we've had Roman throwing shots at this guy for years now. We've had like Roman fans hate this guy, like hate him.
Yeah.
And so for him to get on TV and immediately say Roman Reigns, it's a big deal. And like I said, I think it's a good sign that anybody that he may have some animosity with, that they are willing to work with him. That's a good sign moving forward.
Like, I do want to see the Kevin Owens match. Like, I legit thought we weren't going to see it because of real beef, but I'm like, oh, if we're going to get that match, I want to see that.
Yeah, I think that there's really good stuff they can do with the Kevin Owens feud, and I think that Kevin Owens will be the guy that gets the inside baseball stuff to work. Yep. I can see the Kevin Owens program being what the Eddie Kingston program was for him with AEW and WWE, because he's gonna say all this stuff like nobody wants you here. He's gonna be the guy that brings it back.
I was in those locker rooms with you back in the day. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I feel like that program can be very good. I feel like, of course, when we do eventually get the Roman stuff, that stuff's gonna be good too. But yeah, get this main event, man. He's making a point that he wants this main event, and I do not think it is a coincidence at all. The guy that he did not say his name is probably going to be the guy that he main events with.
What happens to Gunther? I kind of thought he was going to be the one beating Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
You can still do a lot of good stuff with Gunther, because I still think that you should give Chad Gable his moment. If you hold off and you do Chad Gable versus Gunther at WrestleMania and give Chad Gable the win at WrestleMania, I think that can also be very good.
And now, Cody is going to beat Roman Reigns.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think that he should, but I just don't know what this.
A lot has changed, Phil.
I don't know, man. I think it would be a huge mistake to have Cody lose twice. I think it would be a colossal mistake.
What if you don't put him in the match then?
I think it was a mistake to have him lose the first time. But having him lose 2 times at WrestleMania to Roman, I think that's a big mistake.
So I'm saying, what if you don't put him in the match?
Then who are you gonna have Roman wrestle? Brock ain't coming back, guys. Like let's just
Solo, Jey Uso.
Like, no.
Yeah. Even me saying it, I was like, no, please don't do that.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, see, that's the issue, though. If you put Cody in there, he has to win. And I don't think they want Roman to lose that belt still, Phil.
Why? Just move on, man. It's
time.
I know. Time. Just end the reign, bro.
I know, but I don't think they know.
It's time. I don't think they know either, but it's definitely time. I think it has to be Cody. And I think Cody has to win.
It's going to look really bad for Cody if he doesn't win and then Punk comes back and he wins his thing. It's going to look crazy as hell. I think Cody, he has to win this match, dude. But I don't think he is at all, like 0%. I think they're trying to get Roman Reigns to beat Hogan's next record. Next up. Who's next up? Oh, he needs this many days to get to that. I think that's what they're trying to do. Look at how they're booking this guy. They're letting this guy stay at home, and they're throwing it in their face too. They're like, he's gonna stay at home, and he's only gonna do this. Like, yo,
listen, man. If we get to WrestleMania again and he beats Cody again on night 2, man,
it's gonna be sick.
Yeah, man. I don't know where you go with Cody after that. What do you do with Cody Rhodes after that? If he loses 2 years in a row at WrestleMania, what do you do with this man after that?
He's over.
Yeah. And I mean,
like he's over. Like it doesn't matter. That's what they think.
But I think it does matter. I think him losing 2 years in a row at WrestleMania, it makes him look like a joke.
Does it?
I think it does.
I totally think so, but I'm like, do they think that?
I think it does, and I do think that he will remain over with that fan base to a degree, but it does make it look like he still is not.
It's always going to be that thing. Mm-hmm.
It makes it look like the guy went away to prove that he was a main eventer, and then he came back and he's still not up to their standards. That's what it looks like, and I think that that's a bad message to send.
It is,
but I think the difference with Punk is Punk don't need to win at WrestleMania, man. Punk can get that main event and lose to Rollins.
Totally, and it wouldn't. And it would help Rollins, and it wouldn't hurt Punk at all.
It wouldn't hurt Punk at all, but I think Cody has to win, man. If you do that match again, Cody has to win.
I'm nervous for the bro. I don't know, man. It's gonna be WrestleMania season is gonna be
man.
interesting. People still talking about The Rock too. Get over it. He's not gonna be.
I mean, I think the fact that Punk is there pretty much deads the Rock thing altogether. I don't think it's happening. I do think it's very funny that Punk is in the situation that Rock is, where he's coming at the very last minute and possibly,
I love it.
possibly getting his WrestleMania main event. I think that is very
The
funny.
thing that he complained about, he's doing it.
I think that is very funny. I think people that are like, he doesn't deserve this. I'm like, no. Give me my vengeance, because he should have main evented in 2013. Give him his match. So I don't know.
I was at that show and I was still like, why isn't? I think CM Punk should be main eventing the show.
And he had the better match on that card.
Way better. The Islands, but it was. I still hate that those Cena and Rock matches they grind my gears, honestly.
I think the first one's good, but the second one's not as good.
I just wasn't feeling it. The first one, I was like, these promos are god awful. Like, I understand why you guys like them,
but Fruity Pebbles?
I hated all of it. Rock would randomly be like at some monument. I'm like, this is gonna suck, and I just didn't like any of it.
You didn't like the Rock promo where he was in his house and he had like the backwards hat on and he turned around and he was doing like the record scratching? Like, yeah, I'm gonna get real stupid.
God,
you didn't like that?
Terrible. Please stop the tape. What's going on here? Why are you guys doing this to these people? I hated it. I hated it so much. And that show 29 was it 29? Which one? That was the first one? No, 28 was the first one. 29, I was whatever Bryan Danielson and Sheamus show, like you could have put anything on after that. After that 18 seconds, you could have had the spot food extravaganza and you would have not have brought me back to that show. So that was doomed from the beginning.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I hope they don't mess this up with Cody. That's all I can say. But because I mean, look, it's Philadelphia, man. If for the spirit of Rocky, man, you can't do this to this man. Like you can't. This is Philadelphia. You've got to have him run up the stairs and do like the whole montage and everything, and he's got to get it done. He's got to win.
Yeah, if they do this to Cody in Philly, that's crazy.
It's nasty. You can't do this to him in Philadelphia, bro. Like you can't do this.
I just can't. Even that's what makes it even more reason to make me think that Roman's going to get over. What number of WrestleMania is this, Phil? 40, ain't it? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see like the tribal chief holding up his belt at the end of WrestleMania 40. Come on, man.
Can't do this, man. I can't accept this, bro. I cannot.
Come on, man. The end of 40 and Roman has all his belts and he's the fucking man and the pyro's going off and he's the one. Like, come on.
You know what I did think that was really funny yesterday? Because the Gucci album just turned whatever, because it came out 2009. The Gucci album with Lemonade and like his most popular studio album.
Yeah.
That dropped yesterday in 2009. And I did think about earlier this year, Becky Lynch was doing that Lemonade joint where making the lemons in the lemonade. I was like, listen, man, Becky has got to come out at WrestleMania to Lemonade, bro. Get Gucci on the phone. Get her coming out to Lemonade. It would be fire. Make this happen, WWE.
Becky Lynch coming out to Lemonade is really funny.
That would be hilarious, man. Make it happen, man. Make it happen, man.
What's up with Becky? You think she's going to be gone next year?
I don't.
Is there any truth to this?
I don't know, but I do think that she has a very good chance of possibly main eventing WrestleMania as well.
She does.
I do think that she is going to win the Women's Rumble as well. I do think she's probably going to get the match with Rhea. But I don't know if I believe if they get that match that it is going to headline. If Cody and Rollins is on the table, I don't think they're going to let the women headline that show.
I wouldn't think so.
But
okay.
But yeah, no. Listen, man. Get Gucci on the phone, man. Make this happen.
Great work, man. Let's get into some super chats before we move forward. Van Twin Blade says GTA is a real game, unlike sports games.
I guess. I don't know.
You don't even really play a lot of sports games, too, though. Do you, Phil?
I played 2K a lot. I did not buy 2K this year because the last 2K was awful. I just couldn't buy. I couldn't bring myself to buy it again this year. But I usually play 2K. I have given up on Madden a long time ago. I used to play Madden, but I haven't bought a Madden in a long time.
It's been so long.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Something about immersing yourself into a video game and deciding, all right, well, I want to go and commit crime. It's just not really my thing. Not really my thing, man. But it to each their own.
That one got me going there. That's how people live out their fantasies here, Phil. You know
That's
what I
your
mean?
fantasy,
That's
bro.
why they like it.
That's your fantasy, bro. Like I guess I'm the preacher guy that had that clip. Like that's what y'all doing? 40-year-old guys playing video games. That's what y'all excited for? Breaking into cars. That's what y'all doing? That clip is wild, dude. He's like, have you seen this clip I'm talking about?
I've never seen it, but it sounds hilarious.
It's a preacher, and he's like doing a sermon, and he's like sitting up, and he has like the video game. He has a video game controller. And he's like, man, not now. You know, you're ignoring your wife, you're ignoring your responsibilities because you're still playing this game. And I'm like, yo, sometimes guys just want to have fun, guys. Like, it's not that deep, my guy. That clip was crazy. I was like, let's calm down, dude.
Because people really do be feeling like that. I'm like, no, people have all those things and they play video games too. It's not like some big crazy thing.
Women play video games, my guy. It's not that deep, man. Like
they're sodomizing on this game. I mean, they do be sodomizing.
Yeah, no, that clip was crazy. Like, man, what are you guys doing? Like, it goes in the middle of it. He was like, it goes back to our trauma. See, and I was just like, it's a video game. My God, chill out. Chill out, man.
It goes back to your traumas, big bro, because I'm chilling. Now I saw that trailer got like last time I checked in the day it was 100 million views. I'm like, people are very excited about this video game. That's insane.
Yeah, hey man, maybe I will play a GTA before it comes out. There are many things that I came across at the last minute, just like people thought it was crazy. I hadn't seen The Wire. I have now seen the entire Wire. So now you can't throw that on me anymore. I've seen The Wire.
I haven't
it's
seen
great. It. It's amazing. Wait, you haven't seen The Wire?
I haven't seen it.
You should watch it.
It's on Max.
Yeah, it's a good.
Okay.
It's a good
I
show
just
to
got
binge
Max.
watch.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, really good show.
Okay, I'm into it. That's been like on that. Like one day I'm gonna get into it, and I just haven't. But I just got Max for Black Friday, so I'm gonna get into it.
Oh, you got that deal?
Come on, man. You know, niggas is cheap out here. $3? Yeah, I got $3. I think I got $3. I think I could get a couple of quarters to get you $3.
Hey man, Max got basketball on it now. You can watch.
I
it
watched all the games. Yeah, I'm lit. It's lit out here,
yeah, man. Good deal.
Listen, if AEW was on there, we really be. Now I understand why people come on here every day and are like, "What about this streaming deal? What about this streaming deal?" Usually, I've been like, "Shut up," but now having Max, I'm like, this would be very easy if you guys just showed me AEW right here. I could watch all of it.
Yeah. Funny story about GTA as well, because I alluded to this when people were like, man, you need to play San Andreas. Funny enough, at the time when San Andreas was out, I was dating somebody that was also play video games. And she was just like, hey, I want to play GTA, but I don't have it for PS2. And so I was like, whatever. And so she bought it for Xbox, and I had an Xbox at the time. So I had GTA San Andreas at my house. Never played it.
You wasn't fucking with it?
Never played it, but she would come over and play it sometimes on my Xbox. I still never played it.
Would you at least watch her play it?
Maybe once or twice.
You just are not interested, huh?
I don't know. I went into it. One day I'll play it, but I've never been into like the big popular casual games. Like I wasn't a big Call of Duty player either. Like I played a few of them, but I wasn't a big Call of Duty guy.
What's your jam then?
I play a lot of RPGs. I guess I'm just like the stereotypical like nerdy gamer guy. Like I pick I'll pick all of the niche like stuff like I don't know, like RPGs, like I don't know, Dark Souls. I don't know what any of that is. Shout out to you gamers out there. Corey David said, what you guys thought of Lash Legend? Also, Maya Lesnar. Oh, the slam was dope. The slam was really dope. I thought it made Lash look good. I don't know too much about what else she's doing on NXT, but I thought it looked dope. Hey, yeah, shout out to Maya Lesnar, man. Because when she get the shot put championship or some
Record,
shit.
yeah, some kind of thing.
Yeah, shout out to her. Jeans are very strong in the household.
Super duper strong. That's young Lesnar, and if WWE hasn't sent her the bag yet, I'm sure it's on the way now.
Yep.
Will Chisholm says, to be fair, people treat ROH like the boyfriend who keeps messing up, and now she don't believe he's doing right. Yeah, honestly, yeah, it is kind of like on the back burner, and then we're like, oh, you're doing right again. Let's kiss. And then like the next day you send them back to their home. The other half says, as part of the Continental Classic, winner or top 3 qualify for G1.
That'd be cool. That'd be kind of a cool stipulation to add. That'd be a good way to send people over to Japan to be in the G1.
Yeah, I like it. I like some kind of tie-in with that. Homie Eloquent says, why isn't AEW doing anything with Mike Santana?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm not sure. There are a few guys that I kind of wonder, what are they doing with? Like, seeing Ethan Page on TV and cut promos, I'm like, man, do more with this guy. He's so good. He cuts great promos. He looks great. Like, do more with this guy.
I don't really get it about Ethan Page either. Anytime, like, because he's been featured prominently on Ring of Honor. He said he had a quote this week that said he asked to be on Ring of Honor because he know he would be able to go on there and cook. But yeah, every time he has a promo, I'm like, oh, this guy's one of the best promos in the whole roster. Like, why isn't he have a time to shine? And he's big. He looks good. Like, he can work. Like, I'm like, I don't get it at all. I'm like, yo, Ethan Page is one of those ones. Like, when he had his little mini feud with Max, I'm like, yo, he could go bar for bar with Max if you guys give him the opportunity to.
Yeah, do more with that guy. I've also was saying this week when people were doing the Matt Hardy discourse, I'm like, man, put Private Party back on TV, man. Like, I don't know if Mark is ready to go yet, but as soon as Mark's ready to go, man, get him and Isaiah back on TV, man. Give
when
Private
Matt
Party
Hardy
a run.
started talking, and I was like, "Oh, the lives you didn't ruin, my nigga. You better leave me alone."
Not lives he's ruined. Wait a minute. What you know that I don't know?
Just as wrestling characters. Just as wrestling characters, you guys. Yeah, there was a Hardy Party vortex for a while too. Y'all, we don't forget that.
Yeah, all of that like contract stuff that I was like, what is this, bro?
Come
like,
on, man.
And I mean, some of it is funny, some of it is entertaining, but I just want to see Private Party wrestle. I just want to see them get the tag team run. Like,
and we talk about Ethan Page, like maybe just get Man of the Year back together again. Like,
wouldn't mind. I thought they were great together.
I liked them a lot. Like, I thought they had more legs. The only reason that we didn't like them is because of stupid ass Dan Lambert. So bring them back without Dan Lambert, and we cooking.
That goes to your point about Ethan Page being a good promo. Why wasn't he just speaking for them? Why did you need Dan Lambert involved at all?
That's what made me even more. I'm like, wait, Ethan Page can really talk. Why do you guys got this?
Yeah, man. I don't like. I don't even know like what's going on with Scorpio. Why is he not back on TV yet? Like,
yeah, he showed up one episode of Honor Club, and it probably like 2 months ago now, and he was like the main event. They were like, Scorpio Sky's here, and they're all excited, and then they never talked about him again.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, we need Scorpio Sky, man. He had if you guys aren't gonna make him the single star that he should be, fucking put him back in the team with Ethan Page. I think them together is a winning combination. Glassdoor Gamer says Punk picked the low-hanging fruit. He criticized MJF for doing it ironically.
Yeah, of course you're gonna deal with like the ironies and like the stuff that comes with this. That again, he got a lot of lives off at one point, so you know you're gonna see him contradict himself quite a bit in this WWE run.
No one's surprised. That's the only thing that like deep down, like the promo I liked last night, but deep down I thought about like him saying, this place made me sick. This place did, like, that's still lingering there, and it's like that's nothing that he could do. Like, get your bag, but it's still like, damn, dude, like shit was crazy out here.
There's still a lot of stuff, and I mean that goes to I didn't watch the entire interview that Rollins did with Sports Illustrated, but Rollins was saying in there like, nah, this guy said a lot of really nasty stuff about me. Called me a bootlicker and all this other stuff. And it's just like, yeah, for you to do all of that, and then you're right back here wrestling, like, yeah, it looks crazy.
And you want me to come and smile? No, bro, you was talking wild about me.
Now, I think part of that interview, I haven't watched all of it, but I think part of that is him working.
1,000%.
I have to watch it in its entirety to see.
Right. Glassdoor Gamer also says Logan Paul and Bad Bunny fans are watching WWE.
Yeah, that just shows what what the fan base is, man. And again, of course, that's not the entirety of the fan base, but like
that's what it is.
Just like it's just
Logan Paul's the U.S. champ right now. We could just say that.
Yeah, it's just a different audience, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just they're just different audiences.
Yeah, it's just crazy to really think about. It's crazy that it's brought to the forefront like this with how successful WWE is at the moment and the perception of AEW and all this other stuff. It's just really funny. Glassdoor Gamer also says Hardy Vortex is worse than Jericho sends you to ROH. I mean,
yeah,
some bars there.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at some of the guys that have got caught in the other vortex and stuff that they're not doing right now because of that.
Oh, Wrestling is Art makes a good point here. Brett beat Yokozuna at Mania 10. Eddie beat Benoit. Eddie and Benoit won at 20. Then Dragon won at 30. And it's 40. So Cody has to win. The underdogs always win at the round number shows. Great point that you're making there, Art, because that is true. 10, 20, and 30 were all underdog stories. And this is probably the ultimate underdog story that they're telling right now.
In Philly, the home of the ultimate underdog. Come on, bro.
Man, that's a really good point.
Come on, man. Cody's got to win.
I still don't believe he will, but you made a great point. That's all the reason why he won't now.
I think you're just trying to temper your expectations so they don't let you down again.
Totally, yeah, because that was rough. Feel like that. I'm still like, why did you guys do that to Cody? It was so like on a platter. They fed the whole thing to, and then they were like, "Nah, we're not doing it."
Yeah,
they can't do it again. I'm like, they can't do this to Cody again, dude. That's so rude.
So somewhere on the internet, there, my reaction to it still exists, where I was just kind of looking around like, "Oh, they did that. All right, well, cool." Well,
it happened this year, man. Like, you can't have a more perfect set. Like, you did this. You gave him the Royal Rumble win. You did it, and then you did it.
I mean, I mean, you can make the argument that he's more over with that fan base than he's ever been, and so it's even more of a time to do it now. Like,
I feel like he would have been even more over though if he was world champion. Like, imagine how over he would be if he had the fucking belt that whole time.
I agree. Again, you get no argument out of me because he should have won at WrestleMania this year. But I do think that the fact that it hasn't harmed his momentum, it hasn't harmed how popular he is a good thing. Sure. But that's, again, why I'm just like, you do this to the fan base twice, man.
You can't do it to him twice because he's still so over. Like, when he posts his like weekend trips of house shows and the fans are like, I can't believe I'm seeing Cody Rhodes, and he's just major over. It's like, this guy's the guy, dude. Don't even, like, regardless of, you shouldn't do it again. Like, he is acting like the world champion, so fucking make him the world champion.
Yeah. Probably hottest babyface you got right now, right along with like LA Knight and some of these other guys. You gotta give him the win.
Your boy LA Knight is still fucking over as hell too.
Yes.
Orion Ben 66 says, Punk said F everyone in the club and back in wow and got back in wow.
Sometimes it be like that, man. Sometimes you're that one friend that blows up at everybody and they just let them back in, like, you know how you be, man. Like, whatever, man.
And Cam, shout out to our homie Cam Hawkins, made a good point, dude. CM Punk is a money maker. People forget this guy's over. He is a needle mover. He will sell tickets. He does do everything that you want him to do. He's worth the money, regardless of what people try to sell you on.
Yeah, he's just regardless of what some people think of him. And of course, I will never say people don't have valid reasons to not like the guy, but man, this guy is a massive star, man. Like, you just see how people react to him. You see how people talk to him. You see the emotions he elicits out of people. He's a star.
Mm-hmm. Vincent Moore on that topic says, this was a promo Punk should have cut on Monday. I'm excited to see who gets the main event for WrestleMania. Yeah, this is kind of like some WrestleMania seasons you go in like, no, like we knew Cody was prime to win last year. Like, you can't give it to anybody else. This time though, there's Punk, there's Gunther, there's Cody. Like, there's some options that we can go, and I think that's a good thing for everything, because you hate those shows where it's just like, we know what's going to happen. Brock Lesnar is still looming. He could come and beat everybody's ass. Like, you just never know in these situations.
Yeah, I mean, we could potentially get Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin on this.
I forgot about Stone Cold Steve Austin, who's also looming in the world.
I don't know if that'll be the main event, but
that's the main event of night one if they're doing the show, right?
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Like, you can't have Stone Cold not in the main event.
Listen, man, the interviews we'll get from Rollins after that, if he loses his main event,
oh my god,
and Stone Cold headlines this show with Punk instead, man.
I'm all about mental health for wrestlers, so don't do that to my boy, man. That's crazy. Do not do that to my boy. He does not deserve this. He's out here working hard every fucking day to get that spot. If they take it away to give it to some part-timers, he's gonna cry. Devil Kazuya says, who do you want Punk facing in NXT? Punk versus Ilja. Yeah, because Punk said last night that he's talking to all the general managers in WWE and that he's going to talk to Shawn Michaels about NXT. You ready to see Punk in NXT?
Why are you lying to us, Punk, man? You're not going to you're not lying to us, man. You are not talking to HBK about going to NXT, bro. It's not happening, bro. Why are you lying?
I love that. I'm like, yeah, all right, bro. Yeah, we'll see you there.
I thought that was very funny, but guys I'd like to see him face at NXT. I think Bryan could be an interesting feud for him.
Yeah.
I think that could be an interesting match. I think there's stuff you can do with that storyline that would be interesting. Of course, Dragunov is Dragunov. He's going to have a great match with everybody, so the match itself will be good.
Mm-hmm. Who could promo there that Punk could go against? Can anybody promo there?
No, there's guys that can cut promos there. I'm just trying to think like who would make sense for Punk. I mean, I think Carmelo would make sense because Carmelo has been built up as kind of like the heir apparent to like the ruthless aggression stuff and John Cena. So it makes sense for Carmelo versus Punk in a lot of ways.
I'm like, who's in NXT?
Who's in NXT?
We're going to talk about it soon because we're going to talk about NXT Deadline. And then Samuel Muscle, our last super chat for now, said, I don't think you need the title on Reigns for the Punk feud with Heyman lurking. Do you think that this feud would need the championship, Phil?
I don't think that it needs it because I think those two guys are big enough stars. But I think that if you can headline that pay-per-view with the World Heavyweight Championship, why not? Because of everything that you're trying to build that belt into, I think it makes sense for it to headline the WrestleMania in its first year of inception.
True.
And that's a huge match. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get a match that big again to possibly headline with that.
As well put the belt there.
You might as well do it. But those two guys are big enough stars that it doesn't need a belt for sure. But if it's going to be the main event, I don't see why you wouldn't use the title.
Like, because what if you get Gunther the belt at Royal Rumble and not have him win the Royal Rumble? Like, he beats Rollins at Royal Rumble and then he goes into Royal Rumble. He goes into WrestleMania as the World Heavyweight Champion. Then you do the Punk and Rollins feud for not the championship.
I don't know. I mean, the other part of this, we still have the Money in the Bank still looming. I do think it would be funny that two guys that have a history with the Money in the Bank briefcase, that like we're talking about the guy that went into WrestleMania, heist of the century, won it at WrestleMania. We're talking about two-time Money in the Bank winner CM Punk. And I do think it would be funny that the end of that match ended with Damian Priest cashing in.
That would be sick. Now I'm thinking I want to see Punk beat. I would rather see Punk beat Roman for the belts than Rollins for the belts. But I want to see. I would rather see the Rollins and Punk match, but I would rather see Punk beat Roman than Rollins for the belt. So I don't know.
I think the Rollins match is gonna be better, but I think like story stuff, like I think it makes sense. It makes more sense to do the Roman match, but I don't think that the eventual Roman feud is not gonna be for the belt. If I had to guess,
you don't think so? It'll be probably just over Heyman then at this point. Right?
Oh man, boy, when I was sitting at home watching that Jey Uso match, I was like, oh man, my agenda has officially peaked. There's nothing more I can say at this point. Seth Rollins having a better match with Jey Uso. I feel like that was Jey's best match as a singles wrestler, honestly. I mean, I think that match was very, very good. I think it's one of his best title defenses so far. I like that we didn't get any shenanigans. They let them just finish the match clean, and then Drew stepped in. Very much like the note that Drew stepped in and interfered wearing a hoodie, the same way he lost the match at Clash at the Castle. Thought that was very funny. Heel Drew is just the way to go. Him cutting the promo at the beginning of the show was great. The stuff with Sammy was great when he beat Sammy down, and he's just like, "You think we're the same? We're not the same. We're different." That was great. I thought him I thought him beating down Jay at the end of the show and then basically saying the truth will set you free or something like that. I was like, nah, man, this is great. I love it.
What's Corey David is saying that Punk just tagged NXT. He's at Deadline. Him versus Dijak, I think, is his match that he would like to see.
They're gonna do the Punk is in the crowd stuff tonight?
Okay, Fightful posted, CM Punk is in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and took a photo in front of the WWE title monument in WWE headquarters. NXT Deadline tonight is in Bridgeport.
What the fuck is happening, bro? What's going on? All of that sounds crazy,
doesn't it?
What? Going on?
He took a picture in front of the big belt, and he's in Bridgeport tonight.
Oh my god,
it's a crazy. Like 3 months ago, if you would have been like, "Oh, this all happened," I would have been like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But yeah, we are. It felt weird still seeing him do the promo last night and being like, he's in that ring. He's got this WWE branded shirt on. He has the it's like, oh, this is weird.
Shout out to all of the Punk people that I see in the crowd that have still own all of the old Punk shirts. It's wild every time I see it now. Like I saw somebody sitting front row and they had the Punk shirt with the fist with all the arrows in it. I was like, man, I don't have the only shirt I still have from that era is the I'm a Paul Heyman guy shirt. I don't have any of those shirts.
There's some heat in there. Leonard Aarons III says, at this stage, in all seriousness, if the play for Mania isn't Reigns Punk, can we just stop acting like Triple H is some grand booking wonderkin once and for all? Cody's moment came and went. Punk's bigger with the bigger following. Appreciate that generous super chat, Leonard.
Appreciate you, Leonard. I would like to believe that Triple H is smarter than that. I don't think that he would jump straight to Punk Reigns. I think there's time to do that. I don't think you want to rush into that. I still think the Mania storyline has to be Cody Roman.
I don't know if I'm so sure.
Listen, if Punk wins the Rumble and then immediately comes out, it's like, yep, Roman Reigns. I'm like, oh man.
It's gonna be a tough one.
Especially after Cody made it clear he don't want that other belt. It's gonna look crazy.
Okay, what if the next week he's gonna be on Raw? What if he goes to Raw? Would that kind of tell the story that he's trying to beat Rollins, right? Or does that matter?
I do think he's going to go to Raw, by the way. I think the fact that they made a point of him being such a big part of the show is a big tease because he's not going to be there.
Right.
I think it also is funny that, they very much teased that AJ Styles could possibly be back in time.
Yeah, well, what's up with that?
In time for Tribute to the Troops, and apparently was not there. As we know, he does not like CM Punk. So I don't know if that's a coincidence.
That's one more on CM Punk's overly positive pal list that I think he's going to need to there's going to be some fences that need to be mended. But yeah, I want to see that match too, if that's a possibility.
I mean, he apparently had some issues with Heyman as well, which is funny because Punk is a Heyman guy.
That's right.
There's so many connections and links. There's so many connections and links there with why AJ might not like this guy. There was that quote where he was saying he doesn't care what he says because he doesn't respect him. So take that how you will. I don't know if AJ was ready to come back, but this is his crowd. Tribute to the Troops. Like, they're playing all the country music. You know AJ wanted.
You know exactly what time it is. That's exactly where you want to be at. I can't believe that they haven't gotten AJ Styles out of here, for his old clips. Every time I hear AJ Styles, I think of his old clips of what,
gay community.
The gay community is that's exactly what I think about every single time. The gay community. I'm like, what's wrong with AJ Styles?
All-time great video. Now, of course, what he's saying in there, he didn't say anything derogatory about them per se.
Yeah, per
but
se.
all-time great reaction video. Like every time I hear that clip, I die laughing, man. It's so funny, man.
That clip is so old, and I still, every time I hear AJ Styles' name, I think about that.
The gay community.
Wild stuff, man.
So funny, man.
Nitro Dust says, I miss what makes Punk such a star. I stopped watching after WCW and only saw him in AEW. He seemed fine, but wasn't all that exiting.
Yeah, I think if you came after the fact, it's kind of hard to understand what his appeal was from 9 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you started liking wrestling in this 9 years, you're probably like, what is the appeal? And I do understand.
Yeah, I could totally understand it if you missed like all of the stuff like leading up to Money in the Bank 2011, because that's what really like galvanized a lot of people around him. Yeah, I can totally understand you not being that impressed now. If you're just basing it off the AEW run, yeah, I can see you being very confused.
Be like, why is everybody like this for this guy? But still, like, you have to know the previous parts to appreciate the AEW part. Like, if you just come in an AEW, you're probably like, what is this? But like, if you know the previous stuff that Punk has done, it makes you appreciate what he did in AEW so much more. So, I totally get it. Like, even if you feel a way about Punk, I understand, and some of it is valid. But like this guy, there's also the other side. Like, he does have a legacy. He is one of the best on the mic ever. He does have a catalog of great matches that do exist.
Yeah, the idea of him going from opening All In this year and then possibly going on to be in the Rumble next month and possibly main eventing WrestleMania after
crazy.
that. Insane. Like, this guy, we could possibly be looking at a guy that challenged for the AEW World Championship and a WWE World Championship in the span of a year.
Wow. And he started the biggest wrestling show of all time, and then he's going to be at WrestleMania. This is crazy.
Yeah, it sounds insane. Like I mean, everything about that. I mean, like Copeland being over there now. Wrestling's just in a crazy place. Okada going back to TNA. Like, where are we, man?
I don't know. Every time I open my phone, I'm like, what's going on here? What year is this?
Yeah.
Okada in Impact is really funny though. J Mar says, I remember that Punk said in AEW he wanted to work with the young guys. If he was truthful, then I could see him doing some NXT shows.
Yeah, I mean, he worked young guys in AEW.
He did.
I do think it was encouraging that when he did the promo last night, it did seem like he understood the guys that are over. He understands like the storylines. It seems like he had to do some homework at some point because he very much knew like the storylines going on.
Yeah, he seems pretty in tune. But yeah, if it's anything like his AEW run, we'll definitely see him against some of the younger up and comers. I mean, he faced Hobbs, he faced a number of those guys. I only
Ricky
remember
Hook,
Starks. Yeah,
exactly. Some of those guys. Well, he didn't face Hook, but he gave Hook one of his best moments. I mean,
QT Marshall.
I mean, the Sin Hook is because of
Sin
CM
Hook.
Punk.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a thing because of Punk. Glassdoor Gamer also says, do you see Danielson a part of AEW management after he retires? If yes, what do you see him doing?
I think he'll be a part of creative after the fact because he's already been a part of creative on Collision anyway. So I think he's just going to keep doing that, and I could see him being a part of like the training staff and coaching as well.
Yeah, I just don't see for the rest. Tony Khan is going to be hitting up Danielson for the rest of his life for sure. As for something,
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
I mean, if this year is showing us anything, it's that he trusts Bryan and he trusts his decision making. So I could see him absolutely continue to play a part in AEW after this year.
Right. Vincent Moore says they said that CM Punk is going to decide which brand he chooses Monday. I think Punk chooses Raw.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll be on Raw because that's where Rollins is. I think that's the big feud they're building to.
Exactly. And then he also says, Vincent Moore says, they said Punk going to choose which brand on Monday. I think he's going to choose Raw. Does Cross need to go to a different promotion? What happened with Karrion Kross, Phil?
I don't know, man. I think that they have to. I think they've got to sort out the character stuff with him, man, because
I think he thinks he got it figured out, though.
well, hear me out. hear me out. I think you've got to sort out the. You got to sort out the character stuff because
Right.
I think if the character stuff is not working, it forces some people to focus on his in-ring stuff.
Yes.
And it's kind of unfair to what initially got him over in NXT because all of the character and presentation stuff was working then. It's not working as well. Personally, for me, I wish he would just go back to doing the Killer Cross stuff he did before he was with WWE because I thought all that stuff was interesting. Even if I'm not saying because I've seen people that are like he's got to cut his hair. Like I don't think that matters.
I don't think
but
that's it. Yeah.
I just think the presentation with Killer Cross was more for me. It was more grounded. That's more what I'm interested in him doing. I don't know. I just don't think the stuff with like the big entrance and everything. It's just not hitting no more, man. I think he's gotta adapt it.
What if you have him join the Judgment Day?
No, I don't know.
Not into it.
I want that. I'm good.
I'm like just kind of because he's into the walking the line spooky shit or whatever he be trying to do with this character. Like maybe something. I don't know. But this ain't working what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I think he's got to figure out something on the character side to get people invested again.
I don't want to say do you think it's over for him, but do you think he could get the crowd back?
Man, the great thing about wrestling is you can always change the perception. Always. Yeah. Like, I mean, we've seen it too many times. We've seen people that look like they were dead in the water. I mean, think about where Cody was before he left the company and the Stardust stuff was happening. Night and day from where
people thought he was. They thought it was over for Cody for sure, like for real.
Yeah, so you can always find a way to change the perception to get people invested again. So I won't say that I think it's over for him. I think he's a good like change of character, a good change of direction away from getting people invested again. I mean, we just talked about Lashley. Remember Lashley coming back, and boy, it was a trudge to get to good stuff with Lashley, and how popular he is now is just totally different.
Yeah, he is over like Rover. They're gonna have to do something about Lashley too. Like I don't know where he factors into world title plans, but like he's got to be a contender very soon.
I think that he got hurt a lot from moving to SmackDown, and there was no world title for him to challenge for. I think it's a shame that they didn't just do Roman versus Lashley sometime this year.
Right.
And now I think they've kind of missed their chance. But I knew what it was as soon as they moved him off Raw, because as I kept saying, like everybody on Raw, you're going to get the opportunities. Like,
and SmackDown, you can't even say Roman's name over there.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate. And I don't know where they're going with the stable stuff he's doing. That's another thing. Like they got to split those belts up, man. Because like you just got you've got guys on SmackDown that are ready made for like tag team feuds, and they have nothing to wrestle for.
It's really unfortunate because there are a lot of great tag teams too. It's not like they don't have good tag team. It's like, no, you guys have good tag team. Just like give them something to fight for. It's like you keep having to make up shit with the Brawling Brutes. You split them up and LWO. It's like you don't have anything for these guys to fight for, so you think splitting them up is the reason. But it's like, no, just give them the belts over there and we can cook.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's all of our super chats for now. Appreciate everybody for submitting today. You guys are dope.
Yeah. Sure, we have more humper chats. Come on. Load. Okay, we got more from Tony P. He says, it is clear with the power dynamic shift and damage control that Bayley is not necessarily hated. It's more she is seen as tolerated pet to them more than anything else. Also, if Monet doesn't come back, could this story work without her possible return? I think it can.
Yeah.
I think that they are building to the babyface turn for Bayley, and I do think it's going to work because Bayley is very popular with the fan base now.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people you can team with Bayley if it's not Mercedes to make this work.
I mean, you could just switch her to the other side with Becky and Charlotte.
Yeah,
that would work.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, hopefully Charlotte is.
Oh yeah, yo.
that looked grisly from the clip that popped up online of her stumbling off of the turnbuckle and immediately grabbing her knee. So hopefully it's not a serious injury and she'll be back soon.
Yeah, hopefully everything's okay. That looks scary, man. Wrestling is so like they were probably going for like some basic type of thing, and that's how wild it went. So yeah, hopefully Charlotte Flair is okay. Hopefully Asuka's okay. Scary for them to come back for break and both wrestlers are like down. You're like, what the hell's going on? So hopefully everybody's fine. That was scary.
Yeah, but no, I think this can work without Mercedes. But yeah, it is very much every time Bailey walks in the room, you can see how annoyed they are with her, or very much like you again. Like, all right, man, we're just putting up with you for now. But like the way they all just turn around and look at her every time she comes in off screen is just so funny to me, man. I'm just like, man, poor Bailey. She started this group, man.
She started this gangster shit, this motherfucking thing she get. Yeah, I think she's so over as she's gonna be so over as a baby face that's the reason why Mercedes won't be needed. But I think that she probably is gonna show up here soon. I don't know.
Yeah, if she doesn't, regardless if she does or doesn't, I think that this is gonna work well for Bailey. I think she's gonna get a good baby face run out of it. It's crazy to think that she could possibly get a better baby face run after this than she got coming from NXT, when I thought that she just was like a ready-made baby face that was marketable. They could have done everything with, and it just didn't work out.
Didn't work.
I think that this time around as a baby face is going to work much better for her on the main roster.
Yeah, and I think she has more room to kind of stretch and do more things in this position because she's a veteran now. There's more younger women that some of the women that she's going to be against are like in the business because of a match that she did. So it's like, she's going to be playing a very good veteran role, I think, at this position. But yeah, I think that Mercedes is going to come help her. I don't know, you guys.
You going to be out in Philly with your big hashtag Bailey is hot sign?
No.
Shout out to Bailey, man.
Bailey is hot, though.
She took that kid's sign and made it into a thing that was very much trending at one point. Bailey is hot, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bailey's going to get a lot out of this babyface turn.
And Bailey is hot and like, fine. And, hot at wrestling also.
That's what I'm saying. You could be out there with your son.
I live in the Bay Area. I'm just going to be in San Jose.
Yeah, you could be standing out at a show at San Jose with the big Bailey's hot sign.
No, get me out of here.
No. From Bizarro Big L, Reggie out here acknowledging his status and the player haters ball. To quote Silky Johnson,
Facts.
Y'all are a bunch of mark ass marks, trick ass marks, punk bitches, kips gaps, stanks, scallywags, whole heifers. You're going through the whole thing, huh? Hee haws, hooly hoops, and I hate you.
Facts.
Generational hater, righteous rage, ladies and gentlemen. From C. Romero, sup fellas, I'm about 2 months behind on wrestling and Grapsody, but I had to stop in live because Phil had me cracking up with that Catherine Jackson quote on show, cheating on her. Classic scene, favorite Juice quotes, nobody steal, there go Raheem. I completely forgot that was a thing on the episode because I was at first reading it like, what is he talking about?
Oh, yeah. We was talking about the Jackson American Dream, huh?
Classic scene, very much classic scene. I can't say that I'm the only one that has had fun with that. Of course, Kiki Palmer did it as well, and then that led to Kiki interviewing Angela Bassett as well. Really, really funny stuff. Classic stuff. Of course, also like the Temptations movie is one of those things that's just constantly quoted amongst Black people. Listen, man, those two miniseries fed the culture really well at one point.
So they've been feeding us for like 30 years at this point. That's crazy. Like that's some of the most quoted movies of my life of like come from those two things. Still to this day, like my cousins still rattle off shit from both movies.
Michael,
Michael, yeah.
It's still hilarious every time I see it.
When he's chasing Michael with the belt and Michael jukes him, little Michael jukes him.
Yeah, nah, he got him up out of here.
Oh shit, man. Good times, man. They used to come on so often. Like they didn't have nothing else to play. Like,
yeah, no, and I would sit and watch all of it. I would sit and watch the entire thing.
And with commercials on TV, it'd be like 8 hours or something.
Yeah, you've just got to commit.
You gotta commit is hella funny.
You gotta commit your time, man. But yeah, no, classic television, man. Appreciate you, C. Romero. That is all of our humper chats. We got some big news from Andrade this week. Andrade will be heading back to CMLL, which
Thought he's talking about going back to WWE, Phil.
So, of course, that is part of the report from Big Dave Miggity Meltzer, that a part of him wanting to go back and do CML after all this time is because he wants to get that out, because he may possibly be leaving AEW when his contract is up and going back to WWE. I don't know if that's true, but this is a pretty big deal. Andrade going back to CMLL. It's the first time since 2015. He put out the vignette last night for the CMLL stuff. I think it's great. I think, what people know him from, the La Sombra stuff, of course, that all started there. That led him to doing a New Japan run. That led him to NXT and being Andrade and everything else. Like, for a lot of people, like, that's the thing that they know him best for.
Yeah, him going back to kind of his roots, I think, is a big deal. He's been, not for nothing, Andrade's been cooking in all of his matches. There's some controversy always kind of surrounding him, but anytime like the bell rings, he's just as good as he's ever been. So I think seeing him back in CMLL with the new crop of talent is going to be awesome. He's so funny with his tweets. Like, he's so
hilarious, man.
Good at his tweets and the timing and everything that goes around with it. It's like, this is a really smart guy. I'm excited to see kind of what happens when his contract expires, because he seems pretty like he's gonna do whatever the fuck he wants. Like, nothing's gonna determine that.
Well, yeah, you do make a good point with just like the Twitter stuff and some of the stuff we see outside of AEW program. It's like, man, this guy is so like charismatic and funny.
Yeah.
Why don't we see more of that on TV, man?
I don't get it.
Like, even after the stuff from Collision last week, and he posted like, I thought that was room service. I was dying laughing, man.
Like, I was saying, like, why do we see this guy? He's so funny.
I was dying laughing. Of course, if you have not seen it, on Collision, they're still doing the Andrade and CJ stuff, and so CJ standing outside of Andrade's locker room, and Miro comes and bangs on the door, and he's trying to get in there, and CJ like rushes him away, and so Andrade tweeted the clip of that and was like, I didn't know what that was. I thought it was room service. Hilarious. I was dying laughing at that. That and the response to the Tony Storm promo from Saturday. All of that was very funny. Tony Storm's promo from Saturday was fucking hilarious, man.
Yeah.
Really, really funny stuff. And then you had all the people thirsting again over feet, and the Sky Blue promo as well.
Sky Blue promo. When that promo happened, I was like, oh my God, the internet.
all of the internet freaks were eating very well off of content from Collision last week. But yeah, Andrade is great, man. I just want to see him do more. I want to see him more present. It's been great seeing him in the Continental Classic. I thought he had a good match with Garcia, and I think the match tonight's going to be good. If you have not been spoiled, please try to remain unspoiled. Sorry. I have tried to stay away from spoilers, but of course, because of the job we do, it is sometimes very, very hard, because people will just randomly send us shit, and it's just like, all right, how do you know I want to know that?
Story of my life at this point.
like seriously, sometimes I'll be just like randomly scrolling through Twitter, and a fan will just like tag me.
Yeah.
Or something, and I'm just like, wait,
they'll tag me in like an ROH spoiler. I'm like, I don't like spoilers, dude. Like, I want to watch that shit live.
Like, I didn't want to. I wanted to watch the show.
But
live.
I feel you guys. You guys want to like include us, and you guys are excited. So like, I'm not mad at it. But sometimes it's like, I'm trying to see it too.
Yeah. So, but sometimes it's hard to avoid spoilers. But if you can avoid spoilers, it's supposed to be like a big shocking win tonight.
I avoided spoilers, so shout out to me.
I unfortunately was spoiled. But I am of course looking forward to Andrade versus Bryan tonight. Should be a good match. But yeah, I just want to see more of Andrade. I think the CMLL thing is good for him. Hopefully,
but the bro still wants to go be with his girl, though. I think that's the moral of the story. He's like, cool, this is fun. I'm having fun over here, but yo, you know what time it is. My babe's over here.
How you know?
You know.
How you know?
It's still so good. And this is just another thing added on to the contracts of next year. Like it's gonna be nuts next year when all these contracts start coming up. People start moving. These pieces start going everywhere. Some shit's about to happen.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I did when the CJ Perry stuff started. I was like, man, how great was Selena and Andrade?
Yeah,
I kind of missed them together. They
that
were
was
just
a pretty good team.
They were just a great tandem, man. She was a great manager for him. I just miss it, man. Like,
damn. And I'm sure he sees Santos Escobar and he's like, that's my spot. That's supposed to be me. What the hell's going on here? So I understand it. I get it.
He hit him with the flash. How does it feel to me?
Straight up. But yeah, shout out to Andrade, man. He's a tremendous wrestler and he's gonna land. He's gonna do his thing. It's gonna be sick in CMLL.
Nah, man. The idea of Andrade finishing up the CMLL stuff and being like, man, this has been fun, but it's also sad because, you know, Andrade is going back to WWE with the solo album. It's lonely at the top. 5 heartbeats is another one. Just so many classic quotes from that. But nah, him finishing up that speech like, man, new album coming out. Flash is lonely at the top.
Hell yeah, man. Very exciting. Good stuff.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for Andrade. I think he's gonna get the good matches off. But yeah, just love to see more of this guy, man. Wherever he ends up in 2024. I just want to see more of him, man.
Hopefully, with not too much drama attached to it, because that's starting to get old.
Yeah, I'm over that, man. Just give us the Graps, man.
Yeah, I'm done with it. We got one super chat in here. Will Chisholm says, "If Charlotte is hurt bad, could you see WWE doing Bianca versus Mercedes at Mania again?"
Yeah, I'm curious what this means for Bianca because it seemed like they were heading towards Bianca versus Charlotte.
Right.
And if they're not going to do that, I wonder what is the plan for Bianca. Hopefully it's not a serious injury. WrestleMania is still, like 4 months away, 5 months away. Yeah. So it's still plenty of time. It could still happen. But I don't know, man.
If Mercedes does come back into the mix, where do you see her? Because if we're doing Bianca and Charlotte and Rhea and Becky, where do you? I mean, I guess we could still the Damage Control versus Bayley and Mercedes. I guess.
There's still stuff you can do. You can flip this around. I mean, if you don't do Bianca versus Charlotte, you could always just give us Bianca versus Rhea, like you had teased for the longest and then never did the match. And you can just move Becky into another storyline. I still think it's going to be Becky versus Rhea personally. But I am curious, what does this mean for like Bianca? What does this mean for Damage Control?
Guess we'll see.
Yeah, they got options.
That's it. Thanks everybody for your super chats. Again,
appreciate you guys as always. I don't think we have any more humper chats. We have a NXT show tonight.
Yep.
Which I have to get the card in front of me because I do not remember everything that's on the card. But
Deadline. Going into it, I do want to say we want to send our love out to the homie Wesley, who has a pretty bad injury. He announced this week on NXT TV. He was supposed to be in the title match with Dominic Mysterio tonight, but apparently he has a back injury. He has to get surgery, and he's going to be out for like up to a year. So shout out to Wesley, Desmond Xavier, one of the cleanest, best wrestlers there are. Hopefully his recovery is good.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate news. Watching him tearing up is very sad, man. And they're saying he might possibly be out for about 8 months. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah, unfortunately. And so he will not be in this match tonight with Dominic Mysterio for the North American title. I thought Wesley was probably going to win that match as well.
I thought so too.
So yeah, that is sad news. Hopefully it's a speedy recovery and he's back soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty short cards, about 7 matches total.
Okay.
We got Axiom versus Nathan Frazier as the pre-show match. both of those guys can work. I hate Axiom's entrance, man. I just think it looks so cheesy, like the sped up thing. It just looks so silly to me. Like when he did it on the main roster, I was like, oh, they really brought that up. Okay,
it's bad. Looks really bad.
But Nathan Frazier is one of the ones that I think that guy is so good. Like I don't understand why they haven't like fast tracked him to the main roster yet, because he's just so good. But yeah, that match is gonna hit. I think that from Graps, just like if you're just looking for in-ring stuff, that match is gonna hit.
Yeah, that match is a pre-show match for a reason. That's how you get this crowd hyped. Them two guys just going bar for bar, crazy as hell. Man, yeah, that's gonna be dope.
Yeah, we've got the men's Iron Survivor Challenge match for a spot as the next number one contender for an NXT Championship. It will be Dijak versus Trick Williams versus Josh Briggs versus Braun Breaker versus Tyler Bate. What do you think of the Iron Survivor Challenge? Because it's an interesting concept.
It's pretty convoluted. The first time I watched it, I was like, "What's going on here?"
It's a little convoluted, but once it gets going, it gets better. But the first time I watched it, I was just like, "What is this?"
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know what was going on, but I think hopefully they kind of honed in on what the concept and everything is, and kind of get it together. Who's winning this? Trick? I don't think Braun Breaker should win, because I don't think he should be right back in there. So, and then there was this thing this week of them talking about possibly sending Tyler Bate up, which I don't understand why Tyler Bate is still down there after all these years. Like he's been good for like 6 years. Why is he still? I don't really get it, but
it had to be something else that's not wrestling related,
right?
I guess,
because what
if it's just from a worker standpoint, the guy is incredible.
He's been good since he first got here. Like,
I do think they're gonna move him up soon. I think the fact that they've broken up
Brawling
Brutes is a good sign that it could be him moving up and teaming up with Butch and doing like the British Strong style stuff on the main roster.
Okay, I like that.
And I mean, if that's where we're going with either them as a tag team or just them teaming up, I'm here for it.
That's heat.
I think that just like the timing of him going back down there and having a match with Tyler Bate earlier this year, and just like them reminding us of their history together, I could very much see Tyler Bate moving up and helping out Pete Dunne.
That makes sense, because the Pete Dunne's been doing the kind of I ain't got no friends thing for a little bit too. So
yeah, in that sense, I kind of think Tyler Bate's winning this match. I think Tyler Bate is going to probably get the Ilya Dragunov match, and he's going to lose, and that's going to be the thing that moves him.
Ilya's going to beat him to death until he loses. Okay, yeah, I can see Tyler Bate taking this one.
Yeah, I mean, of course, and the other favorite is Trick Williams, based on the storyline stuff with Mello. I could see that happening as well.
They could really show the angle, and Mello screw him out of this match, maybe.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. I also could see Trick losing because of Carmelo. We still have a storyline of who beat him up backstage, and we don't know who that is yet. I still think it's Mello.
Yeah,
I think that Mello is gonna be the guy, and the NXT guy that comes up and competes in the U.S. tournament.
Oh, okay, that's next week, right? The match.
I think it's next week, but yeah.
Okay,
right away, Mello posted the picture of him with the old Cena U.S. title. And again, like, he's heir apparent to Cena in a lot of ways. So I can see him being the guy that moves up and is in the tournament. I also think that he's just ready to move up in general.
And it could also be Braun or Tyler Bate in this case. So in the tournament.
Yeah. But yeah, Tyler Bate's my pick to win this match. Again, the match is a little bit convoluted, so we'll see. I think that the matches the first time around were entertaining, but it's just it was hard getting used to the new stipulation.
It's a lot. This is the one with the penalty box thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a lot going on.
It's a lot going on. We got the women's Iron Survivor Challenge as well. Same thing to determine the number one contender for NXT Women's Championship. It will be Tiffany Stratton versus Lash Legend versus Blair Davenport versus Kalani Jordan and Fallon Henley. I don't know who's winning this match. I can see
Davenport maybe off a rip of hearing all the names that are in the match, but I don't know. This could kind of go either way, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of the story that they've been telling with Blair Davenport. I'm like, maybe it could be her, but
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is the way to get Tiffany Stratton back into the title picture again.
Could be.
I don't know.
But good for them because like all of them women have been kind of coming up. Like Kaylani Jordan has been doing her thing. Lash Legend has been building her stock up some more. So this match is a good cursor to see what the future of the NXT women's division is going to look like. But yeah, I don't really know who's going to win this one.
Yeah, I'm guessing Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah.
We've also got Dirty Dominic Mysterio, excuse me, taking on Dragon Lee for the North American Championship. I don't know what to make of this because, as we spoke earlier, it was supposed to be Wesley that was going to be in this match. I very much felt like Wesley was going to win. It seems like they very much want Dragon Lee to stay on the main roster, so I'd be kind of confused if he won.
It would make sense for him to win that belt.
But then on top of that, he lost last night. He lost clean last night, which the pay-per-view match between Santos and Dragon Lee and the TV match, night and day, man.
Yeah.
The match in Chicago had all that heat. The crowd was into it. And then you have this match here, and it was a solid match, but then you also got the crowd chanting JBL and all this weird stuff in the middle of it. It just goes to show how, again, like sometimes the crowd can just make a match. And I thought the crowd for the Survivor Series match was just that much better.
I was hella confused. Yeah, I turned on SmackDown late, like right before the CM Punk promo. And then I heard JBL and I was hella confused. And then they're like, oh, it's tribute for the troop. And I was like, gotcha. I thought he was back before I heard it was tribute for the troops. I'm like, please get this guy out of here. But I understand why.
It's tribute for the troops. JBL is going to be there. It's the crowd.
I just think because he had to get his Randy Orton fucking. If you make a wrestler from scratch and it was shut up, dude. We know it. You don't have to get your dumb bits off every single time. Like we know your bits.
Yeah, he was out there. You can listen, man. For that crowd and for what that show is, you're gonna expect JBL.
Yeah,
no shocker there. Yeah. Also, very funny that Punk's first SmackDown, no Corey Graves on commentary.
I would like to hope these are all coincidences, like AJ Styles.
Could be a coincidence.
The Corey Graves thing's a coincidence. All these are coincidences, but it also is CM Punk. So
I don't know. But yeah, I thought the match was solid last night, but very interesting choice for Dragon Lee to lose clean as a whistle. Yeah. And Dom was, of course, ringside, but he didn't interfere in the match. So I thought that was very interesting. Just based off that outcome, it makes me kind of feel like Dragon Lee is winning. But then what are you going to do with him? You're just going to have him on NXT again?
That doesn't really make sense. It makes more sense going forward to, if it's not going to be somebody that's on the NXT roster, to have Dom keep carrying it with the Judgment Day, the belt.
Yeah.
So, I think Dom should win, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Dom wins and they start building up the next guy because West got injured.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I kind of feel like it wouldn't be terrible to give Dragon Lee the win either.
Mm-hmm. I'm going back. Dijak is my men's penalty box match winner.
Penalty box winner. Man, Dijak versus Dragunov would be fires.
Yeah, I forgot Dijak was in there. I think he might win.
Yeah. I wouldn't hate it. I think that'd be a good match. But yeah, so we also got Carmelo Hayes taking on Lexus King, which is not a match that I expected going into this show, but here we are.
I don't I don't know what to. What do you think of Lexus King, Phil? You like his beard?
The Lexus King discourse on Twitter is so interesting to me because I feel like Thugnificent every time I see it. Like, yo, what did he do to you guys? Why do y'all hate him so much? Like I think that his wrestling and everything is just
it's fine.
It's fine. It's inoffensive. Yeah. Like I followed him when he was Pillman, when he was still on the Indies. I watched him win the Warrior Wrestling Championship here in Chicago. I've seen him wrestle in person before he went to AEW. The AEW stuff was fine. There were parts of it that weren't for me, but somehow people just started hating this guy.
Something happened because I remember after the Dark Side of the Ring with his dad, people were like, "We like this guy. We want to see him win." But then something between then and now got this guy off of everybody's good list.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but people hate this guy. I don't hate him. I think he's fine. I think the beard and like the hair color and everything looks wild. Ricky asking Kim, does he have a Dominican barber, was hilarious. And then he came back and didn't he say his barber was like Peruvian or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, very funny. Every time I see his entrance with the throne sliding in, I think of the video for Big Sean ass every time. I don't know why. Every time I think about it, I'm just like, oh go stupid.
Yeah.
Go stupid.
Don't want none. So is Lexus King going over? Lexus King going over Carmelo Anthony tonight? Oh God.
Yeah, I think Carmelo's winning here. I don't see any reason for Lexus to win this match other than
what is Lexus doing here?
I don't know.
They're trying to sell him as not being Brian Pillman's kid while selling him as being Brian Pillman's kid. I'm like, I don't really understand what you guys want me to want from this person.
And then you threw him in the middle of this like Mello and Trick stuff for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely didn't. I felt like this would probably turn into like a TV match. I did not expect it to turn into like a pay-per-view match. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that, but I think Carmelo's winning here. And I think Carmelo is possibly going to cost Trick the match, or something's going to happen between him Trick to set up the match with Trick later on.
Yeah.
We also have Roxanne Perez versus Kiana James in a steel cage match. This is another one that I felt like, all right, this is kind of like a TV feud. I could just end up becoming a pay-per-view feud. But again, I'm not the biggest like NXT aficionado, so I could be off in like the heat that this rivalry has.
They're like, this is a blood feud. How did you not know?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting seeing where Roxanne has been since she lost the belt. They've been putting her progressively in these other feuds with people to try to get people more and more invested in her. It seems like it's working to a degree. I'm still not sure how they messed up the title run the way that they did.
I'm still so confused. Everything was working so fine.
Yeah, but yeah, I think Roxanne's gonna win here.
She should.
I think this is a good spot for Kiana James as well. Like you said, with some of the women in Iron Survivor Challenge match, this is a good way to build up these other women and give them a spot on a pay-per-view. But I think Roxanne's going to win.
A steel cage match? I'm interested to see how they work this whole thing. It's like, okay, I see. But yeah, Roxanne should get the W here.
Yeah, very curious to see how they work this match. I'm not sure what to make of it, but we'll see. Main event will be Ilya Dragunov versus Baron Corbin for the NXT Championship. I did not think after Dragunov won the belt that this was going to be the feud that we went with. But here we are.
I probably would have went a different direction myself, like to start off and try to cement this guy's feud. But I understand because Baron Corbin has been, I was gonna say cooking in NXT, but I'm being extra. He has been doing his thing in NXT and building up to being one of those main event guys that you should beat. And I think that they think him getting a victory over Baron Corbin is a good way to start. I don't, but I understand.
I mean, well, Corbin is also popular with that fan base.
Right.
I mean, and they saw earlier this year when they put Gable Steveson against him that, apparently, people had Corbin fucked up because Corbin got cheered over this guy like resoundingly. So, I don't know. Maybe, this is them going, hey, people like Corbin. People like this reinvention of Corbin. Let's just reward him with a title match.
I guess.
I don't know. I think Ilya Dragunov is very clearly winning here. I cannot see Corbin beating this guy. If we come back next week and Corbin is NXT champion, I don't know what we're doing. And that's not a slight to Corbin, but what you've done with Dragunov and how you made him champion, I just don't see them ending his time as champion this soon and not to Corbin.
Wouldn't make sense. It like I said, I think they set Corbin up to be kind of one of these contenders that is a threat, and people are going to believe he could win. But if he does win, like, we are in a sick world. Dragunov has a lot more to do. I think he needs to be strongly NXT champion going into WrestleMania season. So it's just another one.
Yeah, we shall see. I do think that that's going to be a solid main event. I think
you about to watch it?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. There's of course basketball on, so I'll probably be watching basketball and possibly have it on the side. But yeah, more excited for the basketball game tonight, to be honest.
Totally.
There's college football on. I can't say that I'll probably be watching football, but it's a lot to watch tonight.
Busy night as always. We got a few super chats in here. C. Romero says, Phil, you missed the other part of a humper chat. Favorite quotes from the movie Juice. There go Raheem, Q's little brother. I heard you got arrested.
Yeah, of course. My bad. Did you see T.I. talking to his son, and his son did not know that Tupac was an actor?
I did not see this. King
apparently, because the question was, who is the best rapper turned actor? And T.I. was like, I forgot what T.I.'s answer was, but he was like, yeah, I guess, you could say Tupac Shakur. And he was like, Tupac Shakur is an actor? And I was like, what? And Tupac, T.I. was basically like, get out of here. He's like, leave, get out of here. And then he also was like, Will Smith too, and then he was like, Will Smith was a rapper? I was like,
oh, get him out. That's how you stand on business, King. You better figure it out.
Yeah, but then he said, you've never seen the movie Juice? And he said, yeah. He was like, I thought that was just like a guy that looked like Tupac. I was like, what are you talking about, bro? Juice is like one of his more popular roles ever. Like, what are you talking about? I was like,
Tupac lookalike. All right.
I was like, this kid has to be trolling or something, man. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
I think he is trolling at this point, man.
Yeah, you gotta chill out, man.
And then Leonard Aarons III says Lexus King equals generic legacy call number 2. Dom is number 1.
Hey, man.
It is what it is.
I don't hate the guy. I don't hate Lexus King like some people do.
Nepo babies can be Nepo babies. It's fine.
But yeah, people very much do not like Lexus King online. I can't tell if that is a overall fan base thing, but when you get on Twitter, man, people be firing this guy up, buddy.
He can't never do nothing in peace. So
they be firing this guy up, and I just be looking for afar, like, dang, what did he do?
I wonder what
don't I know, man? Like, why y'all hate this man like this, man?
What did he do? Yeah, I don't know. Something happened in AEW that turned everybody off, and they never came back.
I think he rubbed people the wrong way with some Twitter stuff as well.
Yeah, that is a thing.
Maybe that's part of it, but I don't know. People say and tweet dumb things. It happens
all the time, every single day.
I mean, this guy is a kid. Like, that was another thing that I thought was funny this week, because we, of course, have Nikita Lyon back on TV, and people were surprised by her age, and I was like, yeah.
How old is she?
Like 26.
Oh, yeah. What do you expect?
Yeah, I mean, everything about how she carries herself looks like a
26-year-old.
I think people were trying to say she looks older than 26, but I was like, Nah, I think the way she carries herself and everything, I did not assume she was over 30 yet.
Right. She carries herself like a fucking 26-year-old for sure. Will Chisholm chimes in, I think, with our last super chat of the day. Say, can we talk about that guy who lost his wife by talking to a fake Liv Morgan?
What?
You didn't hear about this? Yeah. Apparently, some guy thought he was talking to online. He thought he was, in a relationship or thing with Liv Morgan. And like his wife found out and left him, I think. Yeah. That's the game. Why would Liv Morgan be talking to you online, dude? Let's start there. I'm not judging though. So Catfish is still a TV show.
So he got catfished by someone claiming to be Liv Morgan.
Correct.
And this in turn ruined his marriage. Is that what you're telling me?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You got it. You're caught up.
I'm not caught up. Apparently, he's caught up.
Caught up. Got me so.
Apparently, he's the one that got caught up. I don't know.
That's the game.
How
Phil.
we got here, but cool.
That
I guess.
is the game. Imagine losing your wife, your whole life, to like fake wrestling person online.
Guys, be careful on the World Wide Web. There's a lot of craziness going on, but how on earth did you think that this was the real Liv Morgan? Like, what? Why is this a thing? Like, what's going on? I
don't know, man. People, there's fantasies and shit. I don't know. Like I said, Catfish is still a show. I think it's like people, like, you just hope. You're just like, this is happening. I'm just gonna go with it because maybe what if it's real? I don't know. I don't live my life like that. I'm just trying to shoot him some bail.
Catfish has given us some very funny moments on the internet. There are very, very many quotes from Catfish that are still funny to me. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
My man getting upset at dude, and he was like, he basically caught him in the act, and he was just like, "No, I'm not gay." Basically, why would I have anything to do with dude? And he was like, "Nah, I don't know nothing about lying." And then he proceeded to hop out of his chair and rip his fake hair off his head. And I was like, "Oh no, why'd you do that to him?" You never seen that clip?
Show. I've never. I don't. Again, don't know why that show still exists.
I'll find that clip and send it to you. But like, they were just back and forth, and he was like, man, he was like, "Nah, he was like, this guy lives a lie," and he was like, "What do you mean he lives a lie?" He was like, "I don't know nothing about living a lie," and he's got like this clearly fake hair on his head, and dude was like, "You don't know nothing about living a lie," and he ran his hair on his head, and it was just so uncomfortable. I was like, why did he do that to him? One of the funniest Catfish clips ever. If you've not seen it, it is very, very funny. I felt bad for the guy in the moment because I was like, dang. All right, you don't want to come out. That's cool, but why you had to embarrass my man like that? He just completely embarrassed him. Yeah, no, I've thought about that clip some days and like looked it up and just cried laughing at it. Very, very funny clip, man.
That's a sick show. I, again, don't know how it exists, but I do understand.
Because it's a lot of creeps on the internet. There are a lot of people doing very crazy stuff on the internet. Yeah.
Nasty.
Yeah. If you're getting messages from Liv Morgan account or like Jade Cargill account or whatever other women wrestling account asking you to follow them back and possibly send them money or whatever,
ain't them.
It's not them.
Why would Liv Morgan or Bianca Belair or fucking Mickey James need you to send them money? That doesn't even.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't fall for these things, guys. Please be careful with your identity. Be careful with your time because, yeah, it's a lot of craziness going on. Yeah. Don't think we have any more super chats, right? Let me check and see if we have any humper chats.
Y'all were very generous today. Appreciate all y'all.
Yeah, appreciate you guys as always.
Happy holidays.
We've got what, like 2 or 3 weeks left in this year, which is insane to me. This year
can't believe it.
Flying by already. I say all the time, once October starts and then you get into Halloween, it just feels like the rest of the year just kind of goes into fast forward because you just look around, it's Thanksgiving and then it's Christmas. But man, appreciate you guys as always. We don't have any more humper chats, so we are out of here, man. It's been fun as always. Appreciate you guys for coming through and sending your chats, sending your super chats, humper chats. But you know what it is. I'm Phil Lindsey, Righteous Reg. This has been Grapsody. We are out of here.
Peace.